There's dirt on my hands, strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. 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 When it rains, it pours. Water's up to my chin. Won't stop fighting to the very end. Many men try to reach it. Many men have failed. Well, if you wanna get to heaven, you gotta raise a little hell. And I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless
Mr. Young and FRGN.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut. Kick to the gut. Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut. Kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut.
Hey, kick to the gut.
Kick to the gut.
Kick to the Gut podcast.
Kick to the gut podcast.
Kick to the gut.
Your podcast sucks.
Yo, we're coming off hot. AEW. I was gonna say AEW, then I don't know why I got an extra W at the end. Maybe because I'm jazzed up. I'm pumped up. How you doing, foreign in the building? Foreign a bit. Eh?
Talk about an immediate reaction, bro.
Yes,
Can you
yeah.
hear me?
Okay, yeah. We hit a spot of lag right at the start. I see your face just smiling there, like,
Nice.
hello, look at my handsome face. It's
You must
Mr.
get
Young,
the leg
yo.
right out of the way, man.
That's right. All right, what's going on? Let's start the show. All right, it's Mr. Young.
And it's foreign in the building.
AEW,
Right.
we just came off of Double or Nothing, bro. How you feeling right now?
Well, it's I guess the end was great. Like it was a great ending. But you know why? I think we were more worried about whether this thing will run over time.
Yeah.
Because it's cutting into our time.
That's true. But you know what? It's all good, man. We're starting right exactly when we need to start. As my dog Chelsea is sort of
Your
getting
dog has
super
entered the
excited.
chat.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, okay, Mama Daniel, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us in the chat, by the way. As always, we're doing it live on YouTube on Mondays at 12 in the afternoon. So, all right, let's get the dog out of the room first. There you go.
Okay. Doggo, bye doggo.
Yeah. So thank you so much for hanging out. Also, if you're listening to the podcast right now, what's up, man? Thanks for downloading it on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts as well.
Yeah, man, we have a lot of things to dive into, not just talking about AEW Double or Nothing, the review. Like we mentioned, we put out on social media yesterday, we have scored an exclusive interview with Trexxus and Statement fresh off their career versus title match.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be big too. I really want to pick their brain, see where they are at right now in terms of that, because, I mean, you've watched the match, right? It's on SPW's YouTube page. A bit of a surprise, to be honest, now that Trexxus is leaving SPW, really?
Yeah.
Arguably one of their hottest stars, their mainstays. We're definitely gonna, pick their brains in just a little while and find out more about, what went into the match, how they're feeling right now, and what the future looks like for one Kaiser Trexxus.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a shame, man. It's a shame. He's one of we've always talked about how Trexxus has like the greatest potential among all the local wrestlers.
Yeah, man.
But I guess he took the L, and he's no longer in SPW. So what does that mean? You know, are we losing one of our brightest stars? Where is he gonna go next? Is he still gonna be in wrestling? So all these questions are gonna be answered at our interview later.
That's right. In the meantime, okay, let's talk about AEW. Surprisingly, this is going to be a very AEW heavy show because WWE has been I'm not gonna lie, it's been a little bit quiet, like the holding pattern, as it were. Like, anything really jump out at you this week from WWE side?
I mean, well, NXT had a great main event.
Sure,
let's not forget about it.
Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross, but it's like, you know, it's like part 2, and they really put over Karrion Kross strong. I still can't get over Karrion Kross's facials though. There's something doesn't quite click. Like, he's acting angry but when I look at Finn Balor, I'm like, okay, I buy into it, right? So something about Karrion Kross still doesn't quite click for me lah.
Well, at least he's not wearing that weird ass skirt that he wore at Takeover. So I think that's one improvement. But right, I'm very curious because of how decisive that victory is. Does this mean, where does Finn Balor go after this? I have a feeling he's already done with NXT.
Yeah,
he's wrapped up.
He's probably going back to the main roster at some point. He's going to take a break again. It seems like he's been on that Brock Lesnar part-time schedule.
You know what? I love it, man, because I think like that gives him his mystique. And you know, I really think Raw needs main event faces. I won't be surprised if he pops out at Raw one of these days.
Or maybe he's the new commentator for Raw. No, I'm kidding. They already announced a commentator, actually. Oh, I forgot his name, but he's old school, not old school, but he's an MMA commentator, actually.
Jimmy Smith. Do you know about him?
Yeah. He's a long-time MMA commentator, not for UFC or anything like that. I can't remember. I think he might have done Bellator. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but he's definitely a veteran. So it's going to be interesting. Like, will he bring like Mauro Ranallo sort of knowledge and vibes to the Raw team? Also, what happened to Adnan Vert? I thought he was actually improving, you know? He improved quite a bit.
God. 2 weeks in. Wait, how many weeks? Like 7 weeks or something?
No lah, like 4 weeks maybe?
Like, I know it's like post-WrestleMania, so it's like about 1.5 months, 2 months. Yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know, man. Okay, we know that he wasn't a great fit.
No.
But we know that I can tell that he is making effort. Like, there was like Raw didn't feel so jarring recently, but you know
what it is though. Like, I feel like Raw was relying heavily on Corey Graves and Byron Saxton, which is a really good duo. I actually really like them because they've worked together before for many years on NXT, right? They have a natural chemistry. It felt like they were sort of just dragging him along.
Yeah. So they're carrying him to a great. People carry other wrestlers to a great match. They were carrying him to a great commentary.
I mean, to be fair, he's not a bad commentator. It's just he's just not that familiar with the product, and I'm surprised that either A, they didn't give him enough time to acclimate, or B, he gave up. He's like, okay, this is not for me.
Yeah, maybe. And another reason, and I think I read somewhere in the report that he felt like he couldn't handle the travel schedule because of his other commitments.
Oh.
And then in my mind, I'm thinking, but they're just traveling to one place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, coming up next, they are going back on the road. So
yeah.
But then again, okay, like, I don't understand this, right? You signed on the dotted line. You knew that this was going to be an eventuality, what? You know what I mean? I'm sure they must have told him, look, at some point we are going to go back on the road and you'll have to travel.
What if, bro, he is like currently on a probation period? You know, like when you join your company, you're on probation.
He failed the probation,
Yeah, like either he failed probation or when he entered and he realized, hey, this company is not what I wanted, you know?
No, so, it's probably something like that. He realized it wasn't a good fit. Like, there's a difference. And then maybe it's a culture thing as well. Like, he couldn't fit into the locker room culture of WWE because that has been talked about quite a lot as well. We all remember, like, Mauro Ranallo. He didn't do very well with JBL.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. But also, I feel like... he was never gonna fit in lah.
Yeah.
Like you can be a fan, but to call wrestling, it's such a different beast, right? Such a different beast. You must play up the characters.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's more of an improv kind of commentator. He's more like I react to something that I see,
sure,
as opposed to giving context and like pushing storylines forward.
Because he doesn't know the storyline. That's why
Yeah.
Corey Graves had to basically carry all that shit with Byron Saxton. If you think about it though, at the end of the day, right? It's like, okay, you can have all these like, oh, he doesn't really know the product well. He's new. He doesn't know how to adapt to the style. But that's the same can be said about people like Michael Cole, who came in as a reporter.
Yeah.
You know, and he just stuck it out. So I guess Adnan didn't want to stick it out, or they didn't think he would last. So they're like, okay, bye-bye, which is fine, whatever.
They should have done what they're supposed to do. Put him in 205 Live, or put him in like the B show. Get him seasoned first. Don't throw him straight into Raw. I think that is unfair to him as well.
I don't understand why they dropped him into the deep end so quick, so fast. Like, he didn't even have like a month or a week on 205 Live. You know what I mean? It's like, what? Are you trying to surprise us? Like, we don't even know who he is. It's not like a celebrity name, right? So I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's like, obviously we know why, right? He's friends with someone in high places. So that's definitely one of the reasons.
If you know a Khan, life is good.
Yeah, man. As we know that there's gonna be a Khan versus Khan war.
Oh dear. Oh, you said the name
and
that
like, you know, making moves.
Yeah, bro, you just said the name that shouldn't be said because you hit a spike of lag once again when you talked about the Khans. Yes, talking about the Khans, we'll get to that.
I got cursed.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Khans in just a bit, all right? In the meantime, though, okay, apart from that, Irvin, let me say hello to you, by the way. Welcome to the chat here on YouTube. Anything else in terms of the wrestlers that really jump up at you storyline-wise? I mean, they're doing the whole, you know, Roman Reigns and the Usos, like, jangan tension sort of a situation. Like, oh, you know, the Usos are back. They're going to contend for the tag team titles. And Roman, then finally, he looks like a jilted lover. It's like, I thought we were going to win the title.
Oh, yeah, the last part. The last part was
like,
really funny.
I said.
I actually kind of enjoy Fridays. As in like in American time when it was AEW going head to head with Friday Night SmackDown. It felt more like a fair fight. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what the crazy thing is? You know why they now it makes sense why they're putting their show Dynamite on Friday, like 2 times in the same month already. Because next week is gonna be on Friday again.
Yeah.
Because
but it's not gonna be regular, right? It's just gonna still be just a two times two off.
You know they're testing it, right? Because they
really?
announced a new show on Friday nights on TNT, AEW Rampage.
Oh yes, and that will tie in into the big announcement that they had on the pay-per-view today, right?
Oh my god, big, world's biggest announcement, some might say. But we'll get there in just a bit. Okay, Raw, anything? No? Forgettable?
Bro, Raw is so forgettable. But you know what? I think let's be fair to say that ever since they announced that live fans are coming back in like mid-July, I think it makes sense that they're gonna have a holding pattern until then.
Just
like,
to
there's no point starting like a new big angle or like doing anything crazy. I think they're just gonna keep out the status quo. Post Hell in a Cell, probably something big is gonna happen then.
And I know this is not one of the main feuds, but the whole Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin thing, I low-key enjoy it. Like, the way Cedric is such a douchebag, disrespectful. And you know Shelton is just there to put him over, right? I'm like, okay, I actually quite like that sort of lower mid-card feud that's brewing there.
Yeah. What else do you enjoy about Raw these days?
Ooh. Like, I'm trying to even remember something that stood out for me on Raw, and I don't.
Okay, for me, last week's Raw, they had a really good match between Xavier Woods and Matt Riddle.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like, okay, obviously the Matt Riddle, Randy Orton thing, like, I kind of like to see where it goes. Xavier Woods is so underrated, bro. I'm just thinking to myself, if Kofi is getting like the main title run, or like going back to the main event scene, which I like, by the way, it gives like at least someone else in the main event other than, you know, always Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Xavier Woods should contend for the mid-card titles.
Okay, so versus Sheamus lah.
Yeah, and he's a great wrestler, and I feel like Sheamus needs opponents because right now, as of now, the last time he had someone was like Humberto Carrillo
and Ricochet. And he destroyed Ricochet too.
Yeah, and like all these like small, which is cool, which is really cool. I like that Ricochet is getting some rub, but
not just a sprinkle, not even a rub.
Yeah.
Irvin says Rick Boogs.
yes, Rick Books. Rick Books has been entertaining me as well.
Shinsuke's best friend apparently now randomly 2 weeks in a row. Okay, but how long will that gimmick last? Like, why is he accompanying Shinsuke out to play guitar just because he can go out and play guitar and shred, which is entertaining? But if you do it every single week without progressing it, without telling us more, then it's gonna get tired very fast.
I want a Rick Books versus Elias.
Yes.
Electric guitar versus acoustic guitar match.
That is obviously like down the line. That feud has to happen, right? But okay, there you go. That's WWE. I don't want to spend too much time on WWE because
I just got one last thing I wanted to say with regards to that feud. You know how Shinsuke and Baron Corbin has been fighting over a crown?
yeah.
Right? Like now they want to be the king of strong style, and then the king Corbin, blah blah blah. What if, right? I just had this crazy thought in my mind. What if they are low key, because SmackDown has good writers, and I trust that maybe they might be hinting at something. What if this is a foreshadowing for an announcement of this year's King of the Ring?
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I don't think it's good story writing. I'm just thinking it's just it's very convenient story writing. I would be surprised if there was no King of the Ring.
There is no payoff, right? It should pay off into something. You're going to keep talking about the damn crown.
And King of the Ring usually happens when? In June. So the King of the Ring tournament might culminate at, I don't know, what's the June pay-per-view? Is it Hell in a Cell?
Well, technically June is Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Or on the first night of the fans returning, in July, they might want to announce something big.
Yeah, and it could be a mid-card sort of a deal where they try to, announce, and push the next big guy. So, yeah, I totally see that happening. No
the
surprise.
IC title scene, I think, is like, for me, the most stacked mid-card scene in WWE anyway.
Right, with Apollo and Big E and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That's a lot of really good workers. And all like former world championship level contenders, except for Apollo himself.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, SmackDown, hands down, still the most enjoyable show on WWE.
One more thing that they need to stop doing the dirty dogs dirty. Like, seriously. Like, it's like, we know they will do anything for the company, right? So let's have them go and have another 2-on-1 match. And like Dominic is holding his own. I'm like, stop lah. Why are you making them look like dog shit? Seriously. Why?
Well, obviously this one Ray and Dominic's story lah. They wanna. I mean, they're great. They're great in being the heel foils. But I completely understand because Ziggler fan, bro. Bobby Roode fan from TNA.
No, but not even like because we are fans of them as like performance, right? But like. It's Dominic. He's by no means like some sort of a veteran. You're trying to play up the baby face, like, fight back against the odds thing. I get it. But at the same time, too, it's like you're talking about two veterans. You're making them look like shit.
Yeah, I get what you mean. At the end of the day, I kind of feel like the only great payoff, like Ray and Dominic needs to have something that leads to WrestleMania. Like, obviously, that's the story.
Yeah.
If not, there's no point to this.
Yeah, Mysterio versus Mysterio needs to happen, lah. And we've talked about it before. It would be the most emotional match ever.
Yeah, if Dominic can act, lah. If Dominic suddenly channels his inner Eddie Guerrero, lah. That's another story for another day.
His real puppy, his real puppy. And then Aaliyah and the wife at ringside.
Yeah.
And then Buddy Murphy comes out to console Aaliyah. Anyway.
Buddy, where have you been, buddy?
Who the hell knows, bro? Who the hell knows? Okay, so that's that for the old WWE, right? Let's move on because there's a lot to talk about in terms of AEW right now, okay?
Yes.
Before we get to Double or Nothing, let's talk about two things. First of all, Cody's promo explanation. All right, look, man, I know we shat all over Cody's promo last, not the past Dynamite, but the previous Dynamite, right? The one where he's going on about how, he's
gonna have the first ever biracial child.
Yeah, apparently, right? And I think we weren't the only ones who rolled our eyes at that promo because the internet rolled their collective eyes at that promo as well. So much so that Cody had to come up with a I'm coughing, I can't even get it out. Explanation. Tell everybody what his explanation was.
2 words, bro. Focus groups.
Fuck off lah. Focus. Okay, when he comes out and he explains to everybody, yeah, you know, I ran that by a focus group, blah blah blah, and everybody responded well. It's like, really, your ego is so thin that you couldn't take criticism on a promo that you had to blame a focus group, right? And then of course the internet reacts to it by saying, the fuck, what focus group? How come you got focus group on? That's the lamest thing I've ever heard.
Then he had to clarify some more.
Yeah.
So basically, he's just digging a bigger and bigger and bigger hole.
He
know
said-
what he should have done?
Wait, hold on. What his explanation was though was even dumber. He was like, by focus group, I didn't really mean like, you know, the focus group that everyone thinks, like everyone sit in a room and fucking listen to my promo. No. What a focus group, what I meant was, I asked my colleagues and legends. So, motherfucker, basically you asked all your employees lah whether their promo is good. Is that what you did? Is that what you did, sir? Because that's exactly what it sounds like he did. He asked, by legends, he probably asked Arn Anderson, who is his like Saikang warrior essentially right now. He probably asked D Malenko, who is his employee, because he's an EVP, right? So of course they're gonna go, wow, very good. Wow, yeah, yes boss. I'm like, oh my god, dude. Like seriously?
I mean, okay lah. I will trust the legends to give like some sort of fair feedback, right? But I also understand that. Do you think that what's the point of them telling him not what he wants to hear? You know, they were just telling what he wants to hear lah. Yeah, it's good.
Okay,
yeah,
so
first ever biracial child, great for you.
You're telling me that all those legends said that is a good promo?
So yeah, I'm surprised that made to air.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised like he was so confident that this is like such a great promo with like so much layers to it that and there's one part of the interview that he put in his quotes, which I super rolled my eyes. It's like I've reached a point in my career where my promos mean a lot, and there's gonna be a bunch of people like dissecting every single part of my promo. So I need to give a great performance on the mic every time I step on stage. That's why I work so hard on my promos, you know. And I think to myself, he essentially telling everyone that he wants to have like a Rock and Brian Gowert's kind of relationship. He even mentioned that. He said like, I love the relationship in the Rock and his script writer. I think it's great. But you're not the Rock.
Nope.
You okay. So far, right, all his promos, right, are just he likes to cry a lot. He likes to get emotional in his promos, tug at the heartstrings. Like he can cut that kind of heartfelt promo, yes, but he can't do it every single time, bro. I don't think he's ever cut any other promo other than a heartfelt promo.
No. He the whole like connection to the Rock is such a reach. It's not even like, unless he starts promoting and he starts bleeding, his promos to me are still gonna be like overacting, self-indulgent bullshit, right?
But you know how he showed his hand? He played his card straight away in the interview. He basically said when he was trying to figure out the promo, he came across the thought of like he couldn't get away from the thought that what if he took over the American Dream moniker? So essentially, right, bro, he in his mind hit this jackpot. Like, okay, the crux of my promo is I'm gonna become the American Dream and fight Anthony Agogo.
Yeah.
I believe that after that he figured out, okay, this is what I want to do. He worked his way backwards and come up with a bullshit story to justify why he becomes American Dream.
Yeah, that's
probably what happened.
Yeah, unfortunately though, his opponent Anthony Agogo, and nothing against him, right? But it's not like he's this big anti-American. Like his promos are full of anti-American hate. Like he did mention something about like, I'm America lousy, UK number one, that kind of shit. But it wasn't like up to, I don't know, Sergeant Slaughter levels. It wasn't, you know what I mean? There wasn't that like vitriol, that hate that, you had to bring the American Dream to fight this evil invading foreigner.
Like even if he just say that, I'm just gonna fight for all Americans, I'm just gonna be this American Dream for one night. Like just mention it like in a genuine way. I think people will just accept like he's just gonna take up his dad's mantle one day. Like it doesn't have to become such a political promo, you know what I mean? That's the problem.
At the end of the day, we all know what it is. He's just way too into himself. And
he's feeling himself way too much.
Oh yeah, take your hands off yourself. And then let's get to this week's freaking Dynamite, where he and what's his face, Anthony Agogo, had the weigh in. Oh my god, that was such a fucking
Bro,
mess. I don't know what it is.
Segment ever, bro.
Okay, maybe he realized after all this back and forth on the internet, right? That's why he didn't do much of a promo. He like kept quiet, which is good, which is great. Just do the, standing on the stage, pose down and all that shit and be done with it, right? But then you had QT Marshall on the mic. Like, what the fuck? He doesn't know. Okay, I swear Paul White. Oh, my, everything. Oh, okay. What went wrong with this entire segment? Let me break it down. First of all, they had to come in and weigh in, right? They couldn't afford a digital scale, apparently. And then Paul White was having such a hard time trying to get the scale right. I'm like, motherfucker, just fake a number.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, why do you have to make it like so zun? So actually, he literally, Paul White is in the ring. Big Show. We all love Big Show. He's a legend, right? He's standing in there trying to work the scale and sweating away. I'm like, oh my god, this looks so bad. This looks like some cha-cha bullshit, you know?
It's like the reason that this segment failed, right? It's not because like yeah, of course they KT Marshall like cut a shit promo, but what made it such a disaster is that it was so awkward.
Yeah.
The moving parts were so awkward, like the way they set it up.
Yeah, it's almost as if they were like given a rough outline. Okay, we're just going to go out and we'll do the weigh-in, and then as and when you feel like, you grab a mic and talk shit. It feels like that. And maybe they were trying to go like a real press conference, like a shoot weigh-in, but it just didn't work because you don't have naturally charismatic people, i.e. QT Marshall. And the fucking dumbest part is, okay, oh my god, this really, I messaged you about this. This really like pissed me off so bad, right? It made me roll my eye. I think even the commentators give no chance, okay? So they finally did a weigh-in. Anthony Ogogo is 219 pounds. Cody is 218 pounds. And fucking QT Marshall grabs the mic. Oh, did you hear that? Do you know what that means, people? Huh? Why are you booing? Do you know what that means? 1. He is heavier than him by 1. So he's going to win. I'm like, what the fuck logic is that, sia? I'm like, oh my god, please, like, shut up. Shut up now. And then the commentators were like, if he thinks that 1 pound is going to do any difference, this QT Marshall must be crazy. I think even the commentators couldn't like take it. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay. So right now we understand that QT Marshall's like claim to fame, other than being like Cody's friend, is that he's like a trainer. You know, he's supposed to be a trainer for wrestlers, right?
I hope not a promo trainer.
Yeah. First of all, right, you know what's the thing that came to my mind? I just imagine, right, what if, right, Hugh Morris was given a main event scene rub?
Yeah.
You know, just because like he's a great trainer, blah blah blah. Maybe he knows someone in high places. Maybe he's friends with Triple H.
Yeah, sure.
Triple H got him an NXT job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What if he's like, you know what? I am gonna have a rivalry with Triple H.
yeah. Or Albert comes back and feuds with a Karrion Kross or something like that.
It's like nobody asked for it. Like, you can be a great trainer, but doesn't mean you deserve like a high spot. Like El Snow was the freaking trainer.
Yeah.
And tough enough, for God's sake.
I think, you see, here's the thing, like, they're, oh my god.
Okay, I tell you what rubbed me the wrong way. It was something that we haven't discussed exactly, but even something that Paul White did, I felt like was so terrible. Like, I think he
Okay, we're hitting a spot of lag right now, so hold on to that thought, Foreign, about Paul White. Look at that face, though. Look at that face.
Can you hear me, my friend?
Yes. You froze right at a perfect time. Anyway, go ahead. Yes, Paul White, what he did.
Yes, correct. So, see, now I'm trying to gather my thoughts. So, Paul White was a mark for himself because if you remember right at the entrance, right?
Yeah.
He was saying, I think Anthony Ogogo was just like looking at him and he was like, you better not eyeball me, son. I'm going to knock you out. You know, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And I felt, I don't know whether this is just me overthinking, but I felt like you just make yourself a threat because you're the Big Show, not because you're trying to serve the story, you know.
I see.
You look at me sideways, I'm going to knock you out, son. Yeah. But you have nothing to do with the rivalry. He even said as much at the beginning. He said, I have no idea why I've been tasked to do this weigh-in. You know, that kind of shit. Like, I just felt like you guys are all breaking your own kayfabe. And you are kind of like destroying the aura. Yeah. You know? No, I get. He's supposed to present Anthony Ogogo as this like bad guy who's a threat, right? Then now he just like, oh, if anything, don't eyeball me, son, or else I'm gonna beat you up. And I'm like, hey, fuck you lah. He's supposed to be the bad guy. Let him be the main threat in the story.
Yeah.
If nothing, he should take a step back.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head right there. The vibe in AEW really seems like, okay, like you go out there and you feel yourself and everyone, this sounds like a bad thing, but I promise you it's not. Everyone is out there to have a moment. And sometimes that is not what you need to do. Sometimes as a veteran, like you don't see HBK going out there and trying to steal the limelight anymore. No, he understands this is not my time anymore. My job here is to make sure these talents get the shine, not me. And I feel like a lot of these folks going over the AEW, well, except for a few lah, and we'll talk about that in just a bit, but a lot of them are like, all right, let's just go out there for one more shine moment.
We all know the reasons why they're there is they felt like they're disrespected in WWE. They felt they got more to contribute, and like they weren't given the opportunity, or they're being like phased out. So okay, AEW is their chance to show that they still have it. So I think coming into AEW, they're very protective of their legacy. They want to be presented in the right way. They want to have their own creative control. So basically, it's WCW 2.0 lah. When Hulk Hogan says, "This doesn't work for me, brother."
Speaking of WCW 2.0, the next thing really cements it, bro. Really confirms what we've been saying, like, oh, AEW is essentially WCW 2.0, right? Moving away from Cody and his horseshit, bullshit, bunch of nonsense. Let's talk about Tony Khan's promo. Okay, so the backstory is that Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer leaked, quote unquote, they broke the news that WWE and New Japan have been trying to work together. Nick Khan from the WWE, he's like one of their higher ups. I don't remember exactly what his position is. Do you know?
He is the vice president, bro. He took over from George Barrios.
Okay.
Remember the two high ranking executives, they got fired like last year or something. So like he's basically the second hand man, bro.
Right. So he's essentially been talking to New Japan for the past like couple of months apparently. So I'm like, okay, that's very interesting, and obviously that's gotten all the marks. The smarts rather, very excited, right?
Yeah.
Or they're definitely talking about it. And then Tony Khan had to do a promo about it. And when you listen to the promo, my God, he comes off as such a whiny rich boy.
Since when, bro? He had the nickname of the Forbidden Door. Since when? Since when he became a character? I didn't know.
I think he's another fella who's feeling himself a little bit too much.
I think so too, bro. Okay, first of all, I always go back to his first press conference, first few times he's giving interviews, because I really want to hold them accountable to those words. Yeah. Obviously, sports presentation, that was way out of the window. Yeah. But the second thing he always said was, I do not want to be a character on a show. Yeah. I do not want to be a character on a show. I'm the owner. I'm the creative guy behind it. I want to let the wrestlers, have a stage. But more and more, he's getting himself on the show. He's gonna end up becoming freaking Vince Russo by the end of this. Yeah.
Okay, some might say technically he wasn't on the show, but he is on AEW social media telling everybody about how, hey, I was the one who brought in so and so. We have the IWGP US champion John Moxley. Me. I'm like, you sound like a fucking brat right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the stupidest thing is he did this promo right before AEW Dynamite. So instead of promoting your show, which is coming up, instead of promoting the pay-per-view, which is coming up, you essentially gave broke the news to the fans that WWE is talking to New Japan. Like, I'm sure most marks don't even realize that happened. People who don't follow Dave Meltzer or, follow the dirt sheets.
Who is living rent-free in whose head now?
Exactly, right? So I'm like, oh my God, okay, somebody needs to sit him down and tell him, it's like, okay, this is not the way to do it.
Okay, like, if it was me, right, okay, he wants to talk about how they have more progress with New Japan than WWE. They want to stick, like, they've done all these things and accomplish all that. Does he have to really do it on screen?
No, he doesn't.
Like, he can literally, like, do an interview, you can look at into whatever it is, lah. But bro, even then, I still feel that you're giving it too much attention. Yeah, exactly. There needs to be no attention. You know what this is like? This is like if I've been eyeing a job, let's say, for many, many months, and then somebody else gets it.
And then I'm like, but I talked to the boss longer. You know what I mean? You sound like a bitch.
Yeah.
The other person was just more qualified in, you know what? In fact, it makes you look dumb because even though you've had this inroad, that inroad, you've talked to them longer or whatnot, right? It makes you, ultimately they chose the other guy because the other guy has better qualifications or has the better deal. So it makes you look dumb.
Or I can give you another great analogy. What if you have been angling for, you're an actor, you've been angling for this big role, this marquee role, and everyone say like, you know what, I think you should become the actor, you should become the guy that plays this role. And then, you know, in the last minute, the studio decides someone else.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of actors probably has gone through this and they never make it public. You know, they accept like, okay lah.
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe like, you know, in hindsight, in the future, they probably like looking back at their career, they say, oh, you know, I was actually going to play the role of Batman, you know, but, you know, it didn't go to me, blah, blah, blah. But then, like, if you're going to be a bitch about it and then just say like, you know, it should have been me. It should have been me.
He's pulling a Dolph Ziggler, huh? And the thing is, there isn't even a concrete like plan yet.
Yeah.
And the
what
fact...
if New Japan just swan both of them?
Yeah, exactly. No, and then it's okay. First of all, it's very obvious. Alvin, I agree with you. It's very obvious he wants to be on-screen personality. He wants to be a Mr. McMahon or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Vince Russo. And secondly, look, at the end of the day, he's taking away shine from his actual performance, and that's just a dumb move.
Yeah. I felt like there is the reason why Vince McMahon, I think, makes sense for him to be on camera. And I think he's deserving to be on camera. First of all, okay, when he was on camera, the first few times, he was a host, he was an interviewer, he was an announcer.
Yeah.
And he was good at all those jobs.
Yes. Some might argue, but yeah, he was good enough.
Like okay, when he was very over the top. Like I know, like a lot of people, that was one of his main criticism when he was announcing. But I felt like that really added to that vibe of that era, like the early 90s, new generation. There was a lot of that very over the top, kind of, oh, you know, unbelievable kind of stuff. What a maneuver! Like yes. But I guess it really added to the product. Yeah. When he became the heel Mr. McMahon, right? Yeah. It wasn't on purpose. It was obviously a fallout from the Montreal screw job. Yep. He essentially became the biggest heel on their show. And he was great at being the heel. His facials were amazing. His interaction with Stone Cold was amazing. He had screen presence. Yes. What does Tony Khan have other than looking like, you said, a very weird, awkward rich kid?
A lot of money.
So because he got a lot of money, we also have to play to his like fantasy lah. That's what you're trying to say.
I guess. I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Like let's, you know what? Let's not take the shine away from the wrestlers. He's already done that to his own company. Let's move on from that.
I want to end this by saying, right, okay, you know what I think would be the perfect role for Tony Khan? If he really wants to get on camera or be part of the show, he needs to be like how WWE that time had a WWE on-screen president. Oh. Like a Jack Tunney or like, I forgot who are the other presidents. But the point is, right,
Jack Tunney never even said anything. He was literally a figurehead. Yeah.
So, right, the only time he ever come on screen or what is to basically announce the main event for WrestleMania 3 will be blah, 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 blah.
But you look at his stupid face. You know that he's freaking loving this shit.
That's the problem. He wants to be like, if he really play his role properly, we know he's the one that is in charge. Yeah. The wrestlers can mention his name on the TV show, like calling him, hey, Tony Khan, I want this, whatever it is. But he's just there. I think that will give him more mystique, bro. That will make him even more cooler.
Hey, okay, do you think he's trying to be a Dana White? Because Dana White is quite vocal, right?
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, Dana White wants to be involved, wants to be seen, that kind of thing. And I feel like if you are the owner, you're the one that bankrolling this whole shit, I think you kind of want to rub. Yeah. It makes sense lah.
Okay. The second Tony Khan gets in the ring and has a match, that's when we know the shit has hit the fan. So right now we are teetering on that precipice. We are on the line. So the second he crosses that line and steps into the ring, then we know, okay, this shit is WCW 2.0. It's going downhill.
Or if some wrestler calls him out and physically attacks him.
Oh my god, yeah, no.
He probably wants to take a bomb. He wants to take like a spectacular bomb or some shit.
For all we know, he's been training secretly with The Factory.
With QT Marshall.
Oh, good lord. Okay, let's get to the actual pay-per-view now.
yeah.
Double or Nothing. I mean, first of all, having a full crowd there, my God, the vibe, the atmosphere, fantastic. I hope everyone stays healthy. We've talked about this before, you know.
Yeah.
What I noticed very interestingly too is that AEW fans really love their quote-unquote AEW originals. I don't know if you realize this, but a lot of the former WWE vets that have crossed over, they don't get quite the pop as their AEW vets.
I get what you mean.
Originals, yeah.
And it's so interesting because like the way they respond or react to certain wrestlers is much more pronounced, like you mentioned. But I don't know whether it's the way the hard cam was set up.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting way it was set up. Like from the corner instead of like face right at the front, like how they've been doing it in all the shows lah.
You know how they tweak the Daily's Place stage as well, right? Usually when we are facing the stage, it's a stage, but they actually put crowds in the stage this time. And
I do not know whether it really looked that good though. What do you think about that?
Okay, because I know what you mean. Because usually you're used to when you look at the stage and the seating at the back, it's like a lot of crowd, right? This one there's just like 2 rows, 3 rows, so it looks sparse. But I think they did it to, well, first of all, make it look like they have fans, because that's their whole thing, right? Like, oh, the fans are back, the fans are back. And it made everybody's entrance look weak as well, because people were only coming out of their tunnel now.
Yeah, and also like there's this one angle where they wanted to show Daily's place at the background.
Yeah.
And like the way the fans were seated is they're seated along the ramp, so they were looking at the ramp instead of looking at the action. So I think people that were sitting there, I think really had bad seats lah. You know, it was such a weird setup, but it doesn't take away from the atmosphere though, because the atmosphere was great. Because I was watching the buy-in. I was watching even the show at the beginning, and Serena Deeb and Riho had like a buy-in match. The crowd was hot for that, bro.
Of course, bro. Fans have been clamoring to watch a live event with a full crowd for the longest time. It only makes sense, right?
Yeah. So this is like their WrestleMania, quote unquote, because this is the first time they had fans since Revolution 2020.
Correct.
It's crazy, man.
Let's start off then. Cage versus Page. Unfortunately, they missed out on, doing this in a cage with Page as the special guest referee, but it is what it is. I mean, a good opening match. Hangman Page getting the win here. Obviously, he got a huge, massive pop.
So one thing I take away from this match is that I thought Adam Page was like very cold, got no momentum. Yeah. But he's still very beloved by the fans.
No. You have to understand too that it was the first match, and they were smart in putting Adam Page in that spot, because it was the first match of the return of crowd. So you know that the energy the crowd has all this energy they want to let out. So I'm not surprised that he got such a huge pop. I don't think it is an indicator of whether he's currently hot, to be honest.
I would disagree respectfully, because I feel like the fact that they put him in that position means they trust him to be the one that gets the crowd going. And yes, the crowd could be excited that the fans are back, and they just want to see wrestling again. But him as like as a wrestler that you want to support, I think he still has that pull with the fans. Obviously now he's not in good storylines. I think they kind of shit on him for a bit, but it's like despite getting shit on, he's still getting fan support. Yeah, I think he speaks a lot more. Yeah,
he's still that draw. And talking about shit storylines, so Team Taz, right? Brian Cage doesn't want to get help. He eventually loses. Do we really want to see Brian Cage as a face?
Batista did it better.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But it's like, I don't get it. The whole thing was, to me, it just took away from Hangman getting the momentum. And Brian Cage is sort of like in between nowhere. He's sort of like in limbo, I feel. So it did nothing for me.
I mean, Brian Cage obviously splitting up from Team Taz is their way of trying to make him babyface and trying to make him like his own man. But I have no idea what's my connection to Brian Cage.
It's not like he's been so charismatic and people have been cheering him so he finally breaks away. Like Batista, right?
Yeah.
No, they just like randomly decided for him to have issues. I'm like, huh? This is the most like cold turn I've ever seen.
I get what you mean. And I do not know whether this is an AEW thing, but like Batista had all those like very slow burn
Yeah.
segments backstage with Triple H,
Yep.
and that made us care about Batista.
Yes.
I've never seen AEW like, I know they got no storylines and blah blah blah, but I think that affects their ability for us to create a connection with the wrestlers.
Maybe they've been doing it on YouTube.
Oh,
Fuck. Okay. No, I agree with you 1000% that it really does feel like they're just booking on the fly. Okay, I think that Brian Cage shouldn't be in Team Taz anymore. All right, let's have him turn. That's it. That's all they thought. And let's do it this way, as opposed to building up the tension over weeks. I mean, okay, to be fair, we have been seeing tension, but it's also like very weak like that. That's very bad storytelling.
The wrestlers, obviously, like we know they have like control over their storylines. So the ones that really are great at this
Can do it.
Like obviously Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, you know like what's going on with their stories. All that. So I feel like big Team Taz, like there's not a lot of great storytellers.
No, not at all.
I mean, obviously Taz is carrying the whole thing, but the rest of them, I don't see any charisma from anyone from Team Taz.
Well, except for Ricky Starks, I think he has a lot of heel potential. But yeah, Brian Cage really he has that Bobby Lashley problem. Like he's this jacked, yoked guy, but in terms of his intensity, it's not there.
His face doesn't look intense, even though it's weird because he does look like a scary dude. But he doesn't give off like, I don't know. Maybe, he seems like a sweetheart still.
Maybe that's why they are turning him face, because they realize, okay, like you're too baby face.
Yeah, but like again, I think the issue with both of us is saying that we just don't connect with him.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Marx and Kingston versus the Young Bucks. I'm going to shock the world by saying I enjoyed the fuck out of this match.
You know what? I'm not surprised actually, bro.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear your opinion, because when I watched the match, I was very invested in the match.
They see, here's the thing. And I've said this before. I don't know why everyone assumes that I shit on the Young Bucks and AEW for the sake of it. But when these fuckers slow down and tell a story, they are good.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Let me tell you what made me hype. I think it's a combination of the fans.
Yep.
It's a combination of for some reason, Wild Thing, I'm really vibing with Jon Moxley's entrance.
Sure.
Because the moment he came out, right, from the crowd, and like the crowd was so hyped to see them in the crowd. Yep. Like suddenly I felt hyped, like, oh, this is like a big deal match. You know?
The combination of Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley is magic, I feel. Because, it's like there's the one super ultra intense crazy guy, and then there's the buddy who's like, hey, look at this fucker, he's so crazy, but I'm also a little bit crazy, I like him. They have a really good chemistry together. And then the Young Bucks just embracing this whole Chibai face vibe.
Talk about Chibai, their outfits enough already, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And they've embraced it, and I love it because it fits them. It fits them to a T, and they can pull it off so well. They're really good. So you got very strong heels versus very strong faces. It's perfect.
This is like wrestling 101, right?
Yeah, and of course, for Mox, you got to start the match off like chaotic, ringside, brawling with the fans, that kind of stuff.
I dare say he is a better fit with Eddie Kingston than he ever was with the Shield.
Yeah, I agree. Because
with the Shield, he was the wild card.
Yeah. And then Roman Reigns took the shine in the Shield.
But with this, right, it's like this is his family, like his people, you know?
Yeah,
him and Eddie Kingston.
Eddie elevates him.
And here's one thing else I wanted to point out, which I was trying to figure out why they were doing it. Yeah. But do you realize that Nick and Matt, they were like mocking like legendary wrestlers and their taunts?
Yeah, I
did.
They were
doing like a bit of Macho Man. They were doing some Hulk stuff. I do not know why. I mean, maybe there's a story there that I wasn't aware. I didn't pick up on it. But obviously, it really made me feel even more douchey. I was like, why the fuck are you just copying Macho Man? Like, what's the point? You know, kind of thing. So I'm trying to figure out what that was about.
See, okay, there was one point where Mox also did like a Hulk up almost. I'm like, what is going on? I think they were definitely trying to screw with, the fans, the old fans. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like I said, like maybe I'm missing something. It felt like I'm missing something. Maybe they cut something in their promo or being the elite or what, and said that, hey, we are the new generation.
Yeah.
We are the best.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
The only thing that was like a bit curious to me was I don't know if Eddie Kingston is still injured or what, but he did very little of the match. It was mostly Marx getting the shit kicked out of him, and then he bladed even. He was bleeding all over the place.
I think he is still injured because he had a legitimate injury post the barbed wire match. Remember?
Exploding ring.
Yeah, exploding because he I remember because he cut that promo with a cast on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that one's a legit injury and he's still rehabbing it. Do you like the ending? Like when they did like multiple like elite being the elite triggers or some shit, like they did the knee thing?
Like 5 just to put him away. Yeah, it works. It works because it's like, first of all, you sell the fact that Marx is so tough. He kicked out of all these super kicks and shit like that. You had to knee him in the face like a billion times just to get the win. I'm fine with it, and the right people won. The Young Bucks should now that they have this heel momentum, when Eddie Kingston and Marx finally win, then it'll be a big deal. But it's too soon now.
Yeah, and also I like the commentary because they talk about how Eddie and Mox, even though they are great friends, they are two great singles wrestlers. But Young Bucks have always been tag team wrestlers, and I think that really shined through even in the way they laid out the match.
Oh, what really annoyed me about this match? I just took a look at my notes. I wrote this down. The production pissed me off because they kept cutting angles at the wrong time. And this is a problem. We talked about this before, right? They need a Kevin Dunn or someone of that caliber because because like these wrestlers, especially in multi-man matches, like the action happens so fast.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they cut and then you miss shit. Like there was this really cool spot where I think Marx had the rear naked choke on one of the Bucks, and then the Bucks flipped over. Then the other Buck did a 450.
Yeah.
And they cut at that point. So I'm like, oh, fuck, I missed it. You know what I mean?
Well, you can definitely see like the issues with AEW, right, has always been specific things. It hasn't improved or it hasn't changed because we've been calling it out. I mean, they have improved a bit by bit, but not enough that it significantly changed, right?
Yeah. Like
production is one of them.
Don't get us wrong. I feel like WWE has moments where they miss out important things as well. But the incidents, the number of incidents, it looks like AEW has way more. It's like 5-1 almost. So they really need to pay attention to that.
I do not know why, but actually my favorite promotion in terms of production value, like in terms of how they produce a match, is still New Japan to me.
Really?
Because, like when you watch a New Japan match, right, they never cut at wrong timings. They always let the action flow. They always shoot from a neutral view. And it's easier to follow the match. Well, because the thing about WWE, they have a lot of Hollywood cuts now.
Yeah.
They keep doing the zoom ins, blah blah blah, multiple cuts.
You know why, right? It's to cover up like phantom punches, because we all know wrestling is a work, and if the problem with pro wrestling is that if you have bad angles, you give away the business. And if you're not, and WWE, they don't do their action quite as snug as New Japan. They fucking lay it in, so they can afford to have like lingering shots.
Which I think is I mean that's like a result of the style that they're doing. Like the positive part is like you said, like they can actually shoot everything and catch it all on camera as much as possible, let the scene breathe. It's almost like stunt work, like people always say like the reason why John Wick is so good is because like you can see most of the action in camera. There's not a lot of unnecessary cuts, but because the stuntmen are really, really good. So I feel it's the same thing as well with regards to wrestling and how they produce the matches.
Right. So the Young Bucks win. No surprise here, but that's a good finish.
Yes, and we are all happy that Young Bucks won. So that is a very interesting noteworthy point.
Amazing. Casino Battle Royale is next, and I still hate the concept. I think it's always a clusterfuck of a match.
Yep.
Christian Cage. So this is it, right? Like Christian Cage comes out first, and I realized the crowd was kind of meh.
Yeah.
Which is like, I'm like, what the hell, dude? So that's why I think this crowd, the AEW crowd really, really loves their originals, more so than the quote-unquote WWE legends.
Which I would say is a positive thing in my opinion, because I feel like you have created a new fan base that is really going to be loyal to AEW.
Or that's a bad thing in that you brought in this legend who wants to work, who has, potential to go to the top, right? and you've made the fans not care.
Well, that's not an indictment on the AEW fans. That's an indictment on AEW management.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, what have they done to make us care about Christian Cage ever since he debuted? Nothing. Not much.
Nothing. Yeah, he only remember we had this breaking news. Oh, Christian Cage coming out after at Revolution.
Yeah,
he makes his debut. He has done jack shit since then.
Yeah.
So another thing, Paul White also the same thing. But can I say something? Okay, this one I give props to AEW. We all, even in our predictions, in our preview, we said, okay, Christian Cage is the one that stands out. You know, he should be the one that wins. I like that they've swerved us, and they actually put the shine on a AEW original wrestler.
Okay, before we get there though, let me just point out a few very interesting things. Max Caster was eliminated, and the crowd booed. So I'm like, wow, okay. Does the crowd actually like the Acclaim?
You know what? I was surprised because, you know, when he cut that initial rap, right?
Yeah.
The crowd actually reacted quite positively to the raps.
Yeah. So I'm like, ooh, this might be a case of, okay, we've been doing this to like barely any crowd, so we couldn't really tell if people like them or dislike them. But I'm like, oh, maybe they might see a face turn at some point, you know?
Maybe he's having the John Cena effect.
Maybe.
Cut enough raps and then suddenly he become a fan favorite.
Yeah. At one point, they had the moment we talked about. Christian Cage, Matt Hardy face off. Unfortunately, that moment lasted like 1 second.
Yeah.
I was like, why couldn't they have milked it a little bit longer?
But to their credit, right? They were part of the final three.
Yeah, sure.
I feel like maybe Christian and Matt Hardy was actually super excited to be putting over new talent. And I think that's why they gave them the rub.
Okay, so before we get to the end though, the Joker.
Yes.
Lashley.
Yeah, oh my god, that was a genuine surprise.
Yeah.
Genuine surprise.
To me, it was a surprise, but I'm like, oh, okay, he's not going to win this.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like Matt Sydal from the last one.
Which I like. You know why? I was just thinking to myself, like, this is a great mid-level size surprise.
Yeah.
Where everyone's happy, like, you'll get a nice pop, but it still doesn't affect the story. Like, it's not as if, like, if, for example, Samoa Joe came in, like, fuck everyone else, he's gonna win. You know? That would have been too much of a downer. Like, it would kind of spit in the face of the other wrestlers. But Leo Rush gave a good account of himself. I mean, he was great in NXT, right? He was a great high flyer, and he did a lot of cool things in the match. But very fast, he came in and then he fuck off.
Yeah, he came in, had like a few minutes of action. It was high flying action, but then he was gone real quick. So Jungle Boy and Christian were the last two, which was very weird to me. You got two faces going at it, and Jungle Boy won. So okay, do we really truly believe? Like, to me, like, I like that Jungle Boy won, but also at the same time, it's like, okay, he's just gonna be fed to Kenny Omega to die. That's it.
I think that he's just gonna give a great TV title match to Kenny Omega, give a good account of himself, and fall short, which I feel that at this stage in his career that needs to happen. Yeah, maybe this is what AEW management is trying to do. Test run. And this will be something that I will talk about in the the title match that happened as well. Yeah, they're just test running him in the main event scene, see how he can perform, see how he comes across to the fans, which I don't mind because he got a great pop. Like you said, the AEW fans were damn happy that he won.
Like I said, I don't see him as the guy who takes the title off, but he's definitely getting a huge rub. And hopefully they build the story properly, and Kenny isn't just going off and doing other title collector bullshit things, right? Like, give Jungle Boy the proper time he deserves. Let them have their thing. Then it could be like the whole Jurassic Express versus the Elite.
Yeah. You know what Jungle Boy has that not a lot of wrestlers in AEW have?
A dinosaur.
Yes, he has that as well. But I feel like he has a genuine connection with the audience.
Yep.
Because even though we don't really have seen him cut a lot of promos, but I feel like I know him.
Yeah, no,
you get that vibe.
He's very likable. He's the very definition of baby face.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think it's so cool because he seems like the kind of guy that has a very mainstream potential appeal. Like, I feel like a lot of kids, if they never watched wrestling before, they see him, like, I like that guy. You know. And like he has obviously the backstory of his dad being a Hollywood star and all of that going for him easily can translate to mainstream, right? And then lastly, the fact that he's actually a legit like great athlete. Like his work in the ring is good.
And he has a cool intro because it's a licensed song. It works, right? And talking about this hit me again as I was watching this. Like everybody's intro was just generic rock music. There are only so few entrance musics that are recognizable. I realized as I'm watching this, like everyone coming in, I'm like, who's that? Oh, who's that? Oh,
yeah. And you know what? I think maybe that's why the Christian Cage intro got affected, because I didn't get who was the person until like Cage came out. Like the countdown made me think it was Jericho.
Right.
You know? So but what song was that by like Jungle Boy? I mean it sounds like a Banana Rama song or some shit. I think it was a very 80s song.
Yeah, it is a very 80s. I forget what the name is. But it's a super famous song. I don't know how they got the rights. They probably paid a lot of money, but
they paid for
works.
that. They paid for 3 big songs, you know, because now they have Orange Cassidy have the Pixie song.
Yeah.
The Way Is My Mind, right? Which is actually a big song, right?
Yeah.
And then now John Moxley, I guess, is going out to Wild Thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Okay, maybe they are going for a different approach than WWE. Instead of they create their own theme songs, they just fucking license the shit out of popular songs.
Yeah, they got the money to do it, what? So okay lah, just pay out lah. And these songs have been around for a while, so I don't know. Maybe it's cheaper to get that than versus a new.
Yeah. I mean personally, like my favorite ever licensed song there's 2 lah that to me makes sense and add to their characters. Cult of Personality, perfect. And. My guilty pleasure, Undertaker and Rolling.
Oh yeah, of course. Keep rolling.
Holy shit.
Okay. Referee Ryan, hello. Reporting from Tekong, Referee Ryan.
Whoa, are you supposed to be listening to us, bro?
I hope life is good for you right now, though, huh? Okay, man. So Jungle Boy wins. Cool. I'm actually all for that as well. Christian giving him a big rub. Poor Christian though. Like he where does he go from here?
Yeah.
But we'll see. Okay, the next thing, I'm like, the second it happened, I'm like, I know exactly what match is coming up next. Talking about the most fucking feeling himself person in AEW right now.
Yes, we are here.
Look, didn't it feel like that to you? Immediately, they did military appreciation segment. Oh god, the military dog and everything. It was just fantastic. And what would be the next thing to follow? Cody versus Agogo, of course.
I almost half expected, right, American Dream to start playing.
American. Yo, hey, yo, it's S-D-O double G.
You must have the cowbell first.
He's just a common man.
Then with Snoop Dogg performance halfway through.
With a mix, baby. Like,
he did have a new theme song though. I feel like it's the original theme song.
Yeah.
But he added some orchestral elements to it to make it more epic, because obviously he needs to have a more epic entrance.
Because he's the American Dream now. So
yeah. But okay, you know what I think, which is actually I low-key enjoyed his gear though. I thought his gear was cool.
It looked very Americana, like red, white, blue. But I cannot with his ego, like I cannot.
Yeah. And the thing is, right, they were talking up Anthony Agogo, right? Honestly, his story is more of a babyface story than Cody. Like they talk about how he was an Olympic wrestler.
Yeah.
He's half blind.
Yeah.
He's almost blind on his left eye because of the kena fucking punch in the face.
Yeah.
He is more inspirational to me, bro.
Yeah. No, when the commentators were saying it, I'm like, wow, I'm rooting for Agogo. Is it because we just can't stand Cody?
I think a lot of it is because of that.
Okay,
but, right.
And then right at the start of the match, did you notice he gave away his weight belt to some kid? Macam like he Bret Hart. Remember the Bret Hart used to take out his glasses to give to the fans, and the fan was like,
okay, first of all, right, some issues with that. Bret Hart gave glasses to a kid. Kid can wear glasses. Yeah. Why the fuck a kid needs a weight belt for what? You fucking want him to get into the gym at 10 years old.
Yeah, that's why he can't even like put it around his waist at all.
Maybe the kid is looking at him like, what do you want me to do with this?
Yeah. This is weird. I don't understand this.
Okay, but right, bro. Okay, something surprised me. When the bell rang, right, actually Anthony Agogo gave a decent account of himself in the ring. I didn't think he was that good.
I think Cody carried him to a decent match.
Yeah, obviously Cody was the ring general in the match.
Yeah.
But I thought Anthony Agogo was gonna be like Tyson Fury or like like he do not know how to wrestle at all.
No, I mean he's been training as a wrestler, so the fact that he knows how to do moves is a given lah. It just, to me, it doesn't make sense. Like, he's a boxer and he's doing these shitty punches. Like, I understand. See, this is where it is a problem for me as a mixed martial arts fan, combat sports fan, and a pro wrestling fan. In that, when I see him throw his punches, they are wrestling punches. They are not boxing punches.
Got it.
Because a boxing punches, like, as a boxer, you wouldn't wind it up so fucking obviously to throw a body shot, whatever, right?
There's a showmanship part of the wrestling.
Yeah, but to me, it takes away. Like, you know who did it very well? Ronda Rousey.
Really?
Like, you know, people like, actually, if you think about it, Ronda Rousey sort of married the whole MMA and pro wrestling aspects together to make it look legit. Like, when you see her throw her punches, she doesn't like wind up like,
I get what you mean.
She throws flurries, which as a mixed martial arts fan makes sense because that's how you actually throw a punch. So when a go-go is like winding big ass fucking punches, I'm like, yo, that looks hokey as shit.
You know, this is a weird piece of trivia in my head, but like my favorite wrestler who throws the best working punches, do you know who?
Who?
And everyone across the industry always acknowledge him as the best working punch in the industry.
Okay.
Jerry Lawler. People always said Jerry Lawler, like from his Memphis days, like he always threw like the best punches. It's just the way that he connects and make the people snap their head. It looks really, really good. Because I remembered an interview that Becky Lynch did when she's still in the man run, right? She said that there's this one segment, I don't know, it's very obscure, but do you remember this one segment on Raw where she didn't say anything much? Charlotte was black, yakking away, and then he just gave her one punch, and then she dropped. Yeah. I don't know whether you remember that one particular segment. It was just in the road to WrestleMania, but she just basically gave her one crazy ass punch that looked damn stiff as hell, and she just dropped. And on the interview that towards WrestleMania, hyping it up, she said that she's been taking lessons from Jerry Lawler. She's been asking Jerry Lawler how to do a great working punch. But here's the thing. So Jerry Lawler's working punch is very theatrical also. Like it's very WWE, like he winds it up and he does the kind of like an uppercut kind of vibe. Yeah. But for some reason, it looks and connects in a very legit way. Yeah. And I feel like maybe a lot of wrestlers need to work on their working punch because not all of them can pull it off well. And
the problem here is we've been sold that Agogo is this like legit boxer, Olympic boxer. So the fact that when his punches look like bullshit, I'm like, it kills the illusion for me. His
liver punch is supposedly one of his like signature moves. Like every time he hits it, people always drop to their knees. Yeah. Which I think is okay. It's pretty cool that you as a former boxer have a boxing move as like a signature move. Yeah. It's just that I know like a liver punch, if you really connect, it hurts like hell. You will definitely drop. But how do you fake a liver punch? Because I feel like if you pull back on a liver punch, right, it doesn't look
correct. It looks like shit lah. So this and Irvin brings up a very good point that proper boxing punches are not dramatic enough. That's why Mark Merrill's gimmick failed. Yeah. So a boxing Agogo equals Balrog. You remember Balrog from Street Fighter?
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
cool
like
comparison.
Like all his moves didn't make sense in a proper boxing match, right? It's too
have there ever
showy.
Been a boxer gimmick in wrestling that work?
No. Like, even though, like, let's say Baron Corbin, he's supposed to be a Golden Gloves boxer, but he wrestles. He doesn't box, you know what I mean? Because I think they understand that if you want to pull this whole boxer gimmick off, everything's going to look hokey as fuck. Or just not dramatic, and you might actually injure somebody by throwing legit shoot punches.
There is one wrestler who employs striking like a boxer in his moveset, which I think looks legit. Undertaker. Like when Undertaker whips someone into the corner, he does a bit of like some boxing flurries. He punch, then he give one crazy punch, then he runs and does the boot.
But that's like one move.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Like it looks great for like a one-off move set or like part of your entire arsenal. But if you base your entire gimmick on I'm a boxer,
Yeah, that's it. Cannot really. So Agogo essentially what we're saying is Agogo needs something other than I'm a boxer. Oh, wait, he's an Olympian. So you know what? He does the Olympic slam, which I thought was damn funny.
I caught that. Yeah, I was thinking to myself like, wow, Olympic slam, and the commentators even mentioned, oh, this Olympian with the Olympic slam.
Bro, he had the Olympic rings on his tights, okay?
Talk about running a gimmick to the ground.
Yeah. Irvin says, lucky you never say Shane McMahon in terms of boxing.
Bro, okay.
The shuffle.
I say like the best working punches, not the most fakest working punches. Shame me, man, not to stop
Okay.
it, yeah.
At some point, Agogo bled. I guess that was hard way because that, you know, I unless it's Cody's whole, okay, somebody needs to bleed in my match.
Come on, that's like a Dusty trademark, right?
Okay, I'm amazed that Cody didn't bleed. Like I said, to be honest, I just thought that this match was just meh. It was Cody carrying a greenhorn to a decent enough match. Cody won with a vertebraker, which is like, what? Is that his new move?
I didn't know that was a new move of his.
Yeah, it looked very dangerous, to be honest. It looked like he was like barely up there. Like, oh my God, are you going to drop him on his fucking neck?
Yeah, I get what you mean. I kind of felt like the match ended on an anticlimactic vibe because I didn't know that was the finisher.
Yeah, actually, this seems to be a theme of this pay-per-view. I feel like a lot of endings came out of nowhere. Some to good effect, some to like meh effect. Like this one was very meh. Like, oh, boom, vertebraker, that's it, wins, huh?
Yeah, we need to talk about like, you know, what's your favorite matches, what match you enjoyed the most. But in this scenario, I felt like it's very middle of the road.
It wasn't an offensively shit match, but it wasn't great either. So it was like very much a 5 upon 10. I just didn't like that. To be honest, I took away nothing from Agogo.
Do you think that this match created a star out of him? I don't think so.
No. All it did was stroke Cody's ego. That's all it did.
Yeah. At the end of the match, by the end of the match, even the build-up, right, it felt more like a Cody Rhodes vehicle than it was a way to build Anthony Agogo. Because no one talked about Anthony Agogo going into the match. Everyone just talked about how shitty Cody Rhodes promo is. So I don't know, that's not good, right?
Yeah, no, it's not. I feel it's not good for their business, because at the end of the day, Cody's already as much as we hate to say it, he's already an established name in AEW. You needed to have pushed Agogo here. And if you want to push him as this mega monster heel, this would have been the perfect time to do it, right? Have him beat the American Dream. Like, whoa, but, you know, hey, his ego wouldn't allow it to happen. So
or maybe just Agogo's not ready, which I also think that could be the case. Like, I don't think he's ready.
Okay, then don't do the feud. Give it to somebody who is ready, you know? Like, okay, anyway, let's move on then.
We can't even think of a name on the top of my head because there's not a lot.
I would just go off on a 20-minute rant about Cody again. Lance Archer versus Miro for the TNT Championship.
Yeah, bro, sorry, bro. I didn't realize this match was happening. I was trying to look. Did I miss on the match? Because I was eating and watching.
Oh, okay.
But the next thing I remember, I was really watching the Britt Baker match. So I completely missed out on this match.
That's so weird. I think you probably fell asleep because
you know what? I won't be surprised.
I fell asleep during the Britt Baker match.
Okay, so we took turns lah.
Yeah, we took turns.
So tell me all about this non-existent Miro and Lance Archer match.
It was exactly what we expected it to be. Two giant horses beating the fuck out of each other. The start of the thing was damn funny though. Like Lance Archer walked into the ring, right? And Justin Roberts was still announcing his name, like Lance, and then Lance Archer, like, you know, like he grabbed him by the shoulder, like, hey, what's up, bro? You know, that sort of thing. And it sounded like it scared the shit out of Justin Roberts because he wasn't expecting it, because he came out from behind him, grabbed him by the shoulder, and
oh shit, really?
I don't know. Okay, maybe my memory is playing tricks on me. Like, it was funnier to me than it really was. But it's like he literally was like, Lance. A moment. I was like, whoa, okay. That wasn't expected.
So was Justin Roberts in the ring?
He was.
Okay, so he basically just sneaked out on Justin Roberts while he was announcing.
Yeah, and then grabbed him by the shoulders, like, hey, bro. But like he's halfway through introducing his name and it like startled him. So I thought it was damn funny. Yeah, I'm like, what is this bromance going on?
I saw a weird meme, and can you explain this to me?
Okay.
In the middle of the match, apparently Miro threw the sack of snake out of the ring and it flew. Okay. What was that all about, bro?
Okay, so like I said, hard-hitting match. Jake the Snake Robert comes out because apparently they showed a replay of what happened before during the a separate segment lah. In that Miro attacked Jake from behind, beat him up, right? That's why Jake wasn't in the match for most of it. But at one point, Jake stumbles out with his sack of snake, right? And then, like fumbles, tries to get the snake out. He was fumbling with his sack, essentially, in the ring. And then Miro stops him, grabs the sack, and throws it into the entranceway.
The fuck?
So at first I thought Jake the Snake was fumbling because he couldn't like open his bag lah. Then I'm like, oh, okay, this is what they were going for. So it was probably a fake snake. There was no snake inside. But to give the illusion, like, oh, Miro tosses the sack. He grabbed Jake's sack and threw it away.
Yeah. You know what would be super funny if like they play a sound effect, right? And then like when he threw that,
Like, and then,
the snake scream or he's in terror.
yeah, then fucking animal cruelty people come knocking on his door. It was a kind of a silly moment, The ending though, like Miro wins, right, with the game over or the accolade, but
They call him the game over now.
yeah, they call it the game over. The problem with the game over is it only works well on people who can backbend. Like did you watch on Dynamite? He fought some newbie who
Yeah, and then he like cranking all the way right to the back, which looks quite impressive.
because that guy is a flexible guy, obviously. So it's like Charlotte when she does her bridge, it looks like a nice U shape, so it looks painful.
Yeah.
But when you do it to someone like Lance Archer, who's way thicker, he doesn't bend as much. It doesn't look quite as impressive. So the fact that he passed out from it, I'm like, ew.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't a tap out, it was a pass out. So like Lance Archer is too, strong, too stubborn to give up that sort of a vibe. And also he doesn't just do it like a camel clutch. He doesn't just sit on him like in the Acclaim, right? No, Accolade, sorry. He actually now like does the back bend on his back. So it's almost like a choke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Almost like a rear naked choke.
It looked ugly because it just doesn't work on somebody who doesn't bend.
Okay, I get what you mean. Like it looks better on a smaller guy lah, as opposed to
on
someone
a
like
big thick, and he passed out very fast. So I was like a bit like, ugh. I wasn't feeling the ending. It made Lance Archer look weak, and here's the problem. Lance Archer has been made to look weak in the past few months. Anyway, he hasn't done anything of note. So I'm like, what did we just?
I remember when he first entered AEW, he was supposed to be built as this like monster.
Bro, his name is the Murder Hawk. He hasn't murdered anything.
Yeah. Like, you know what? The best match that I remembered from him that actually was memorable, in my opinion, was his. Didn't he have like a match with John Moxley?
New Japan.
Yeah, New Japan. And then, it was New Japan, right? Then he tried to do one more match in AEW, but it wasn't as memorable.
Yeah.
But in New Japan, he did look like a monster though.
Yeah, I don't know why in AEW he just hasn't hit that stride, or they haven't let him hit that stride. Maybe I feel like him with Jake, it's bringing him down.
I think because ever since they changed him to face, right, it doesn't serve a purpose for Jake to be there anymore.
No, and
I think that's the case.
He doesn't work as a face. Like what is he? Is he saving puppies? Is he like the whole thing with Lance is they've just botched his story.
Got it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, says, remember when he had a backyard full of jobbers and he was beating them up? Remember?
Yeah, that was a great promo though, in my opinion.
No, it wasn't.
That made him look like, that Lance Archer would have given Miro a run for his money.
Yeah, mister, I have a ring in the backyard with a bunch of nobodies and I just beat up on them every day.
Yeah, that's so funny. But I am liking Miro's booking though. Like I really finally feel that he is being the Miro he's supposed to be.
Yeah, but Lance Archer is not some jobber.
I know.
So this I didn't enjoy the booking. It was a good horse match, but I just did not enjoy the booking at the end.
Sure.
Okay, then it comes to the match where I fell asleep. Britt Baker DMD versus Hikaru Shida. Oh, I only fell asleep in between. Like I was sitting on my this very chair, like really relaxing, and I fucking fell asleep. So
do you know why? Because we know for a fact who's gonna win.
Yeah. No, and it's so sad too because like Britt Baker got more of a face pop than Hikaru Shida. Hikaru Shida is cold, stone cold, not in a 316 way.
Shida suffered from the Asuka problem.
Yeah, they literally don't know what to do with her. They even had the whole celebration, on Dynamite. Oh, apparently, I don't know if I messaged you about this, right? But the Spanish announcers on AEW, they were making fun of Hikaru Shida's like English or the way she speaks, which is a big like yo, was this off the air or what? But and for a company that prides itself in being very woke, like that is like whoa, what are you guys condoning this? Like what's going on?
Obviously, the guy got fired, right?
Did he? I don't know if he did or not. I didn't check.
I'm pretty sure he did because I saw there was a news of someone got let go.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, here's the thing that I read about that whole report. So apparently the Spanish commentators, right, in AEW, you know who they are? There's actually some pretty familiar names.
Okay.
Thunder Rosa is in the commentary for Spanish announcers. So she was in that particular incident.
Yep.
Dasha Gonzalez, who was you know Dasha, right? She's the backstage interviewer girl.
Yep.
And then there was this one other guy who is the one that said the thing.
Yeah.
So apparently they had a transcript of the entire conversation. And when the guy make fun of the Hikaru Shida, the two girls, the more well-known names, they were like, please stop it. That's too much. I can't believe if you say it one more time, I have to end this kind of thing. But they were saying in a very joking manner.
Yeah, I think they were just very awkward and like, whoa, they knew it was weird, but they couldn't just immediately shut it down.
They laugh it off. They try to make
off.
it like a casual thing, right?
Yeah,
I get what you mean.
Yeah. It's just bad taste lah at the end of the day. And if they let
it's
that guy go,
because I think Hikaru Shida actually speaks really well.
Yeah. No, if they let the guy go, then yeah, that's the right thing to do. But be that as it may, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like this match dragged. It was this weird dynamic of the fans wanted Britt Baker to win. The fans didn't give a shit about Hikaru Shida. We knew Britt Baker was gonna win, so she finally won.
Was it a great coronation though? Did it feel like a well-deserved victory?
It does, but it also is in a division where nobody else stands out. So
that's the thing I'm worried about, because Britt Baker is such a great heel, but I do not see any faces in the women's division that might step up to the plate.
So what, are we gonna turn her face then? Because now she's getting the pop, and then at the end she hugged Tony Schiavone,
which is a great callback because you love the relationship between the both of them.
Yeah.
I do not know, bro. I know she needs to stay heel because she's a great heel.
Yeah.
But there's no one else that we are rooting for. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly right. So who's gonna stand up to her? No, like I think she is this weird anti-hero at this point. Like she has to continue doing her heelish tactics. That's what made people love her.
Yeah. Wasn't there that big swole girl that actually was a great
for
protagonist to her?
For a cup of coffee.
Yeah, but she's injured again.
Oh.
You know who I would really like?
Who?
But she's a heel at this point in time. I kind of really want Jade Cargill to be a face. I think that will give a great run for the money. I think because I know Jade Cargill's story, and she is obviously, she's my age.
Oh, okay.
Crazy, right? She's only in her late 20s. Grew up on China. Very obvious.
Grew up on China. Oh, as in the WWE
wrestler,
stuff.
right? Like that was her wrestling inspiration growing up. But she's fucking accomplished, bro. She's fucking accomplished. She is like she got a master's in psychology. She's a single mother. She has a kid. She owns her own gym. Like she's fucking successful. So her being introduced by Shaq, I think it's a great rub.
Right.
So but if only they could have carried the story and make her into, because they all of them want to become heels, bro.
Yeah. AEW heels, bro.
Yeah. I know who's the face.
Who?
Brandy Rhodes.
Okay, never mind. Anyway, let's move on then. Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky versus Sting and Darby Allin. Okay, I was surprised. I was surprised that Sting looked better than he did when he came back for the WWE.
Sting's first match in 6 years.
Yeah.
And my jaw dropped when he did that dive.
Yeah, off the chips.
I was like,
right?
Holy crap, this guy don't give a shit, man. No. He's gonna fucking fly today, man.
Okay, to be fair though, like I mean, most of this match, 80% of this match was the other competitors, lah. they had to keep him safe and everything, which makes sense, right? Yeah, there were a lot of huge spots like Paige throwing Darby Allin from the ring to the crowd.
Yep.
That kind of stuff. Was this the right booking?
I felt like if the reason why Sting came back was to have this moment, like maybe this was one of the reasons he signed. He said, like, you know what, I felt like I never got the chance to wrap up my in-ring career in a great way. I want to have like a significant moment, but I also want to do it in a way that I can give back to the new generation of wrestlers. Maybe this was what the plan was all along.
But the thing is, do you think that Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page got a rub? And to be honest, I think the answer is no.
It felt honestly like you know when John Cena and The Rock team up for the first time and then they fought The Miz and R-Truth?
Yeah.
The Miz and R-Truth became afterthoughts.
Yeah.
So I felt like this was they're just gonna book like a feel good good guys versus bad guys, and bad guys gonna lose, and then everyone's gonna be happy for the good guy kind of thing. It's not really to build up Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is I think all three names that was inside the ring with Sting got elevated. They can put it in their resume where I was in the match with Sting.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean I guess that is already good enough. Going forward, obviously we do not know what this means, because at this point in time, Sting is just the manager for Darby Allin at this point in time.
Yeah, he's his daddy.
Yeah, but I like the Batman of the future vibe. Like old Bruce Wayne and then like the young Terry McGinnis. I don't know.
Terry McGinnis.
Terry McGinnis is the Batman Beyond.
Oh,
right? Remember?
Okay, I see.
Remember that cartoon series?
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah.
To me it was like, oh, okay, cool, interesting moment. Like I said, I don't have that deeper connection with Sting to begin with. So the fact that he gets the Scorpion Death Drop on Scorpio Sky, a lot of Scorpion motifs
that's cool.
in there. It was cool and everything. I was like, oh, okay, Legend won.
I think this is like more for the WCW fans. Yeah. Or for the TNA. Are there even TNA fans? But yeah, for those fans who have seen Sting.
Yeah, through everything, right? I honestly feel though that Darby Allin got a bigger pop than Sting. But then again,
which actually is a good thing, right?
Yeah. That means they're pushing him, the new talent.
And you're right, I think AEW fan base, they are becoming very distinct.
Yeah. And there's this like very obvious line, I am an AEW fan.
Which I guess for better or for worse allows more fans to become wrestling fans.
Yeah, but the problem is, and we've talked about this before, right? If they cater to only one fans, they'll never bring in the mass market. So their audience will never grow. It will be stuck there. So, I mean, we'll see where this goes. We'll see where Sting goes. To me, this is sort of okay, like interesting, but this to me has no ramifications, you know?
Yeah. To me, it's just of a good nod to Sting for him to come back. Okay, that's great.
Move on then. Pac versus Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega.
Okay, I got a lot of comments on this match, but yes, please.
I want to know if they're good or bad comments, because to be honest, like I didn't hate the match at all. I actually thoroughly enjoyed the match. It was a very well performed match. Unfortunately, we knew exactly who was going to win. Yeah. So to me, the whole match through, I'm like, okay, yeah, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, so I get what you mean. The main point I want to bring up, right, is that if this was AEW's way of testing water a bit, see whether Orange Cassidy can be taken seriously as a main event performer. Yeah. I genuinely believe in my heart of hearts that this was accomplished.
Yes.
I was really surprised.
But then again, we all know AEW's fan base is very into Orange Cassidy. We've known that for a long time though, bro. And
yes, but I've never seen, I mean, maybe I don't watch enough AEW, but I've never seen Orange Cassidy perform in a main event level kind of situation. Unfortunately
for Pac though, it just leaves him out as the sort of the guy who was there.
He was the guy, he is the, okay, if this was a Triple H, Chris Benoit and Shawn Michaels, right? He was the Shawn Michaels in this match. He wasn't the main story. He was there to make everyone else look good. Yeah. He was there to clean up like the sequences. But you know, he's probably going to be the one taking the pin if nothing else.
Yeah. Okay, then we had Orange Cassidy firing up, which was a huge moment. The crowd popped hard for the fact that he started oh my god, this chill guy suddenly doing his thing, right? The ending, let's talk about Don Callis, trying to win it for Omega. Omega uses the ref, whacks the ref, blah blah blah, and then out of nowhere, crucifix pin for the win.
Yeah, but before that, right, can I just say that I got a kick out of him hitting the
All the
is he hitting
belts.
Park with all 4 belts?
Yeah, it's quite funny. Yeah, that was quite funny.
It was like this one belt. Okay, no, wait, take the other belt. Wait, take.
Yeah, it's like as if, and they use the AEW belt last, of course.
Yeah. Which I think is a way to get the belts visibility on their show, which
I
is
guess
cool.
so.
But yes, you're right. The crucifix spin. Okay, but before the crucifix spin, the last ditch orange punch, which
Yeah.
I think got the biggest pop. Because everyone was like, "Holy shit! Like, is he gonna do a upset?"
Yeah.
I like that false finish.
Yeah. But then of course Omega kind of no-sold it, if you think about it, right? He takes the punch and then that's where he got the
Did the
crucifix pin from. Like, I'm like, I'm on the fence about that.
It's more he survived the match than he won the match, in my opinion.
Which is, exactly what should have happened, right? He's like the cowardly heel. He needed Don Callis to fuck around with stuff. He needed to use all the belts.
So I asked you this question because we were talking last week about how this match was so last minute, the way it was put together. Like there's no, like I don't feel any reason why they're deserving so-called to be on this stage. But after watching the match, what do you think?
I think they elevated Orange Cassidy. He's gained back a little bit of that momentum he lost after he beat Chris Jericho and then did fuck all for a few months.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they've definitely brought back some of that momentum. Park to me still feels like an afterthought, unfortunately. And moving ahead, knowing that Jungle Boy is next, it's like, ooh, okay. It almost feels like though, because Jungle Boy has his Luchasaurus, has his Mako Stunt, right? So there's already a group versus group feud.
Yeah.
So Orange Cassidy and Park kind of move away from the scene.
As we are going into year 3, right, of like AEW, where we are now, I think this is the year where they have already established all these AEW originals.
Yeah.
And this is the year where they are moving up in the card. Like they are gonna try to test water and see how they do as like the main focus on the show.
Well, if anything, they're doing a good job of splitting up, keeping them away from each other, talking about Hangman and Omega, because that's where it has to lead to at some point, right?
Yeah, and I thought you were gonna say like they're doing a good job of splitting all the AEW originals in their own storylines and building them up.
To me, it still feels like the veterans have their own storylines and it's working for them, and those that are not veterans, they are just floundering in their own shitty storylines.
Fair point. But I guess the example I want to use is like, okay, now Jungle Boy has a great storyline going for him now. Darby Allin has his whole thing with Sting, which I think for better or for worse, I think it has been a successful partnership so far.
Yeah.
And then now Orange Cassidy has always had his following, but I guess now he's being taken. They're trying to make him be taken seriously among more fans, which is great. Yep. And of course, MJF is to me is like the head of the class.
Yeah. And speaking of MJF, let's move on then to the main event of the evening. A little bit of a giveaway, considering the fact that Kenny Omega won, right?
Yep.
So you had a heel, then the next match, which is the wrap up, the main event, kind of needed to be a face win lah. So in a sense, it's like, okay, we know that the Inner Circle is winning. Plus, for the past few weeks, they've been talking about, Inner Circle has to disband. Then they were doing that look back. It felt very like, it could really end. And that's what told me that it's not going to end.
Okay, so this is like the reverse booking lah, reverse psychology.
Yeah.
I can tell the things that I like and I didn't like about this match.
Okay, go ahead.
I like the fact that the last thing that happened, the match was won by Sammy Guevara.
Yep. I mean, we've talked about this before, right? Like, at the end of the day, this feud, Sammy Guevara is the one to push. He needs to get that big definitive win at the end.
Yeah, so as I didn't mention the fact that Sammy Guevara is a AEW original, part of the first class. So he it's great that he's getting that rub. Like I give kudos to Chris Jericho. Yeah. Because Chris Jericho basically stood aside and this time around made it about the young guys, you know. Another thing I kind of like but also didn't like. This Stadium Stampede took on a more serious tone. Yeah,
there was less like funny spots. It was just a straight up brawl, which I kind of understand too, because okay, you didn't have Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy was the quote unquote weirdo with all the funny nonsense, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So in this one, and plus they had just gone through blood and guts, and forget about the fact that was so close, but it had to take on I understood why it had to take on a serious role because it was literally a blood feud.
There was a nice callback to last year's one where he got Sean Spears got run over by the golf cart, which was nice. Like it's here and there sprinkled, but more or less overall the tone was more serious. Yeah, I like that, but I also didn't like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean because also I don't know if you noticed this, but from a production sort of how they cut it standpoint, right? Yeah. If I remember the first Stadium Stampede, it was more chaotic. Like random people run into random people. This one, it was almost like, okay, MJF versus Chris Jericho, Hager versus Wardlow, Spears versus Guevara, FTR versus Santana Ortiz, and they each have their own stage to fight.
Yeah, it felt like 5 different single matches
in one, right?
In one.
Did they even cross paths? Like I know they started together, but after that, it's like, okay, you fight there, you fight there, I fight here. So it felt a bit like disjointed.
It felt too choreographed.
Yeah, exactly. It felt to me like a cinematic match actually at some point. So I don't know. Actually, I don't think it was live. The only live part was at the end.
Yeah. I think they probably would have said that or mentioned that somehow. Okay, why I like the first original Stadium Stampede, and I think it worked. And I'm just gonna say it now that I much prefer the first one. Yeah. Because right. They did a great way, yes. They all went separate ways. They did a lot of different things. Yep. But somehow it all started. Okay, so remember they started it in the middle of the ring? Yep. They all ran to the ring. They had like a crazy brawl in the ring. Like, and the ring was in the middle of the fucking pitch. Yeah. And then they started going off in their separate ways. Yeah. And then they finally get back together. Everyone got back together on the pitch. Yeah. And then like obviously they had a great ending with the One Wing Angel from the second level. But every single so-called mini battle ended in a very nice like payoff. Like for example, remember when Matt Hardy went into the freaking water pool and then came out as a different version? Yeah. That was funny in my opinion. And then the part where obviously the my favorite from that one was the Adam Page versus Jake Hager in the bar. Yeah. They did a lot of cool things in the bar. So what I'm trying to say is like, yes, last year's story felt more coherent lah.
This year just felt like a straight up brawl, and it went on a little bit long because there was nothing to differentiate. Well, okay, there was some stuff to differentiate each brawl, but at the end of the day, it's a brawl. You know what I mean? Also, going back to the whole like production of it. I don't know how they did the first Stampede, but the first Stampede felt organic, as in it felt live. This one felt taped, if that makes sense. Like it was, the cuts were way too clean. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Like, and the funniest part was the entire of Stadium Stampede last year was pre-recorded.
Yeah.
You know,
this time I think it was recorded. It's just that I don't know, like it didn't feel quite as chaotic. I mean, it was still a crazy match, and kudos to all of them for pulling it off. Actually, in this one, I feel like only Sammy Guevara stood out. Everyone just kind of was like, it was there. They were there.
I get what you mean. I mean, even Chris Jericho didn't stand out that much. It was weird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, technically he was injured lah. So, like, when you look back at Blood and Guts, right? Yeah, there were a few standouts like MJF, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara. In this one, it felt like only Guevara stood out, which, you know, I mean, is not a bad thing, but I don't know why I just didn't feel like, FTR really showed out or Santana and Ortiz really showed out.
Now this begs the question, because I thought that Pinnacle was supposed to win, and it would have been a clean sweep, and it really put over the Pinnacle. But now it's 1-1. There's gonna be a bigger payoff than this. What else can be a bigger payoff than Stadium Stampede, bro? Like fucking fight on top of a fucking building. I don't know.
On an airplane stampede.
Right? Like, you agree with me, right? That this feud cannot end like this. There needs to be one more payoff.
I guess it has to be a one-on-one lah. Or like each of them fight each other or something. I don't know. They have to gimmick the fuck out of this right now.
Elimination chamber match.
Elimination exploding cage. Fucking. Yeah, no, they brawl on the plane and the winner is the one that throws the other team out of the plane. I don't know, man.
You know what I think would be really cool?
What?
They need to do like a Survivor Series style match.
Oh, okay.
Like keep it in the ring. Like maybe that's the way they should go. Instead of try to get over the top with topping the gimmicks, strip it all back down make it a ring-based match, like 5-on-5 elimination match. Winner wins everything. Survivor Series style.
Yeah, but I mean, they already put the stipulation Inner Circle disband, so they can't up the stakes anymore. Unless
So
they
in-
do a faction must disband match.
So the thing is, so Inner Circle didn't disband, so they're still gonna stay. So are they destined to fight forever?
Oh god, I really think that they should just leave each other for a while and do their own thing.
Okay.
Or Sammy Guevara and MJF have a feud, and let that be the main feud, whereas the rest of the faction just kind of does their own thing lah.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know. It didn't make Pinnacle look strong.
Nope, not at all. In fact, this made only one person look strong, which is very weird.
Yeah. So very curious booking lah. But I mean that's not to say that the pay-per-view ended on a bad note.
No.
I'm happy. Like I was happy actually Inner Circle won. Sammy Guevara obviously is a star. So
I
that
would
was great.
I would have preferred Sammy Guevara beat MJF at the end though, or somebody. Like him. No offense to Sean Spears, but he seems like
why Sean Spears?
maybe he can take the loss. But to me, Sean Spears looks like the weakest member of the FTR. Like the most jobber, quote unquote, member, and him beating him didn't feel like there was no gravitas.
Would it have been more epic? Would it have been more epic if it was MJF and
Yes.
Sammy Guevara, right?
Yes.
It should have been.
If Sammy Guevara picked up the win over MJF, it would have been like, whoa! It would have
Yeah.
put the stamp of approval, like 100% on Sammy Guevara, and it would have given MJF a reason to feud with Sammy Guevara moving on. And that's what should be next, right? But no, he beats Sean Spears, which is arguably the most throwaway member of the Pinnacle. So that to me doesn't, further
Would you
any
say
storyline.
it's an anticlimactic ending then?
Yes and no. Like, yes, the pin was anticlimactic, but them coming together, celebrating it ended on a very feel-good note. It's like a fan service, like, oh, we celebrate with fans. They all sang Judas together. It was a great wrap up. It was more than just a storyline. It felt like, we're back with the fans. That was the main story versus this feud.
Maybe, bro. Like, if you think about it, maybe this is just their way of sending the fans home happy. Like,
Yeah.
this is just a celebration.
Definitely is a celebration of the fact that they are back with the fans, and that's why it worked.
Okay lah, then I guess it works lah.
But it hurts the feud at the end of the day, know? Like whether they're going to do it again, whether they're not going to, who the hell knows?
Overall, bro, like, what do you think of this Double or Nothing?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than the previous one, and it's so important to send the fans home happy, right? Remember the last pay-per-view, no matter what happened in the pay-per-view, you send the fans home with a shitty ending. All people talk about is the shitty ending. The
When
exploding
you say
ring.
better than the last one, you're talking about Revolution lah.
Whichever the one had the exploding ring. Yeah, Revolution.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely the best pay-per-view that they put out this year. Is it better than the pandemic Double or Nothing? Hard to say because I really enjoyed the Stadium Stampede from the last one.
Yeah, but this one had fans, so this puts it on a different level already.
Yeah, but still the best Double or Nothing was the first one.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, because that one, all expectations were out the window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
and
you
it was
didn't
very
know.
historic moment.
Yeah, you didn't know what to expect. This one is like, okay, everything's sort of settled in already. So I mean, kudos to them, man. Like, I'm not gonna hate. I'll call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Even though I think the Casino Battle Royale should fuck off. Talking about spades.
So what's your overall grade?
Oh, I give this a solid like 7.5.
Nice. I would give it like a B+. Yeah.
Why
plus
must
is
you?
good.
Why you give letter grade? I give number grade.
I know, I like it. You gotta have variety, bro.
Oh, okay, yeah. It was good. Like, I can't wait to see if Hell in a Cell can top it.
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
the only match or angle that will top it is all the Roman Reigns stuff. The rest will
Shenanigans.
probably just be middle of the road.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, it is what it is. So there you go. Y'all in the chat, let us know what you thought of AEW Double or Nothing. Have you watched it, or maybe you're gonna watch it a bit later on?
Yeah. Well, take of this as a spoiler review lah.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
you can see what to expect.
Well, I mean, it's worth watching everyone perform.
Yeah.
You know, like, you can't fault any of the. Well, you can fault some of it,
Bro, I actually paid for this.
yeah. Well, I mean, as we should, right? So
Yeah. So like I don't know, but I guess you could say AEW is doing a great job of building their pay-per-views because like I would fork out $30 for
Yeah.
this. I
Well-
would not fork out $30 for Hell in a Cell.
But I mean, we already fork out like however much, $14-15 a month. So it's built into that.
Yeah, but
Already.
what I'm trying to say is that I think the parting with my money felt worth it.
Yeah. Well, and there's also the fact that they went a full 4 hours, which was surprising to me. I thought like, well, then again, I did have a nap in between.
Yeah. I get what you mean. It was long, bro. It was long. Because I was watching it since the buy-in, so I was up since 7.
It was tough. Was it tough to watch at some points?
Buy-in actually was surprisingly alright because the buy-in only had the Riho and Serena Deeb match was really hot and like a lot of the build-up. So I actually got to sit down and actually watch all the hype videos, kind of get intrigued. That was the one that convinced me to buy.
Oh, okay. So you bought in lah.
I bought in.
You bought in. They did their
Nice.
job. So there you go. Let's put a bow on AEW. I don't know why I can't say AEW Double or Nothing.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
I keep wanting to say WWE, AEW. Too many dubs.
All right, so AEW Double Or Nothing is done. I think we should skip. It's almost 2 hours, but we should address the next thing that we wanted to talk about on the show.
That's right. And moving forward, so okay, SPW recently had a big moment, and if you watch their YouTube videos, you'll know, right? Where the Statement and Trexxus, they had a title versus career or loser leaves SPW match.
Yeah.
It escalated quickly, and you know what? We have the two of them here to talk about that very situation. It's time.
Yeah,
Foreign,
man.
are you ready? Let's get on the Zoom. Let's get on with Kaiser Trexxus as well as the Statement. And in the house right now, check it out. We got the Statement, Andrew Tang.
Woo!
Yes.
What's up?
And Trexxus in the house as well. What's up, my man? It's good to see y'all. It's okay. I don't want to say weird to see y'all after y'all had that epic loser leaves SPW for good match, right? But after everything that happened, you guys had that backstage interaction and everything. How does it feel right now? Actually, we are a couple of days removed from that epic main event, as we could say it. Of course, if you haven't seen the video yet, go check out SPW on YouTube right now. Check out the loser leaves SPW for good. A very emotional moments, guys. Andrew, how do you feel right now, days removed from that?
I'm not going to deny I feel sad because Trexxus has always been a brother to me we've been doing a lot of things together. When we first started off our career, we've been working out together, and then it's no secret you see my Insta stories. We really party hard together, share a lot of good moments, a lot of fun moments together. Yeah, I mean I share a lot of my personal secrets and stuff with him. He's my confidant so yeah, I definitely feel sad not seeing him around, not being able to work with him inside the ring as well. And of course he's one of my trainers in SPW as well. I mean the wrestlers, the aspiring wrestlers definitely miss him as well because he has contributed so much to the company. He's contributed so much in training. Yeah, I mean life is going to be different like me wrestling and he's not. It's not going to be the same. Yeah, it's going to be sad as well. And we have a lot of good matches together, tag team matches. Tons of experience, tons of memories together overseas, and yeah, it's just going to be. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit sad. Yeah.
As much as I was saying last week as well, you don't think about SPW without thinking about the Statement, right? But also in the past few years, Trexxus has become that marquee name for SPW as well. So Trexxus, how does it feel right now? What are you feeling right now?
Feeling very, so I feel more distant from wrestling than I've been. So I guess I never saw myself in this position. I never saw myself coming to this kind of position, ever, because I always thought that I would be one of the guys that would stay in SPW for the longest time. Because that's what I saw myself, going through. Because I've seen guys come and go, guys that have been around before me leave, then new guys come in and then they leave. Then I find myself becoming one of those more senior guys.
Yeah.
And I thought would there be a day whereby I leave, and just happens that I'm just gonna be gone for this time. But I think the loser leaves SPW match has been greatly exaggerated in a way. I don't want to seem like I'm gone forever because I don't like how like wrestlers like, oh, this is like my retirement match, I've gone forever. But then like somehow they eventually come back.
Yeah, I understand.
You know, like
It's
yeah,
a
so
wrestling thing,
you
lah,
never,
right?
you never know, you know, I might turn up again. It's just that I just need some time or maybe more time away from SPW, you know, like yeah, I just feel like maybe Andrew and I had been stagnant for like the longest time. So like that's why we needed to have this match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the stakes it's gonna like there's gonna be something good that comes out of this match, like even though the stakes are high.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Like right now, the Statement is more confident than ever, I feel.
Yeah.
Moving forward after this big title defense that he achieved. And I think Aiden has gotta be, you know, worried. You know, maybe he has to be more on his toes now after watching that match.
Mm-hmm.
You brought up a good point. You brought up about Aiden, and I want to take you guys back to explain to me the concept of SPW Prove. So a couple of weeks back, SPW announced that you guys are going to be doing online shows, and you guys been putting out weekly matches ever since. Tell us about the concept of SPW Prove and how that led to this match itself.
I think basically like the team, you know, felt like, you know, the show has to go on still, like, even though like, you know, you can't run events and everything, and maybe, you know, even I mean like the guidelines are very, very not too clear, you know, whether we can do shows and all, because, you know, you never know, like imagine when I go and do a show and then suddenly like the authorities say, oh no, this is not like, we're not adhering to like safe distancing measures and stuff. It's not gonna be good. So yeah, we decided to do it like, you know, like New Japan Dark, or, you know, we take concept like from WWE as well, like, you know, like there's no arena. I mean, like, there's no fans in the arena. So yeah, you know, we just set up, since we have all the lightings, you know, we have all this proper equipment and all, so why not, you know, we just decorate the place in SPW, you know, like to make it like just like a tape show lah. So, you know, as long as the shows just keeps going on, with all the promos and stuff, we started to like tape the shows in 2 days or so, and then we release them every week, so the flow will just keep going on lah. You know, the content will be there, and then, you know, the fans will just keep coming back for more lah.
How does it feel to be wrestling in that sort of a situation? Because we all know that pro wrestling, you know, wrestlers feed off the crowd, the reaction and stuff like that, and to have no crowd. So do you imagine that the crowd is reacting, how they would react, that kind of thing? Like, what is that process like?
Yeah, it's very different compared to like wrestling in front of a live crowd because you know, as wrestlers, it's very important to feed off the emotions of the crowd. So we really have to just imagine and visualize, you know, like we're actually performing in front of them. You know, like we'll just try to react, see like, you know, try to imagine like how the crowd will feel when we actually like pull off certain moves and stuff. But I mean, it's a good thing for us as well, like, we just still have to give like 150% whenever we just step inside the ring, even though it's a tape show lah.
I have a question with regards to this. You know, when you guys wrestle, with all the pain that you guys suffer in the bumps that you guys are taking, being in front of a live crowd, somehow the adrenaline from that helps to mask a bit of the pain. So I've always wondered, if you were to wrestle alone in that such a very naked environment like that, does the pain feel even more pronounced? Is it more emphasized?
I don't know, man. You know, like, you know, the match I had with Trexxus, you can see like I took a lot of like crazy bumps, right?
Yes.
I think it's still the same for me, lah. You know, it's because, you know, I know it's gonna be a very good match. It's my final match with my brother, so of course I'll give everything. You know, he gave me everything, so of course I'll just take it, lah. You know, the adrenaline is definitely running through my veins, lah. So there's no stopping. Like, even if I break my neck, even if I didn't break my neck, even if I break my neck, I was just still continue with the match, and then, you know, I'll just give my all, lah.
Trexxus, this whole experience of filming a match in front of no crowd, what was that like for you? And was it a new experience? Was it very different? Or was it like, you know, just like any other match you've had, just you have to play to a crowd in your head, lah?
It definitely was a different experience for sure, but I think it's something that guys like Andrew and I are quite used to, because like we've had trainings also at the training center as well. We've had like instances where we would have training matches as well, so we would have to like compete and wrestle as though there are crowds there. So but also it's something different, because like instead of like for me at least, I wouldn't imagine that there's a crowd when I'm competing for during Prove. What I would do is that instead of like working towards the audience in a live event, you are looking through the cameras. The cameras are where the audience are. So that would be like similar to like how you see the WWE does it with the Thunderdome. Before they had the Thunderdome, when they had the empty crowds, right, they will always be looking at the cameras because that's where the crowds are now. It's no longer like in the audience. So that would be what would be different. Also, how it feels without a crowd. Maybe if you would put the feeling of having a crowd around, the adrenaline would be like 100%. But without the crowd, it goes down a little bit. Maybe it's got like maybe 80%. So it's a little bit more exhausting because like you got to feed off of your own adrenaline instead of like that external adrenaline that you get from the audience.
Question now. So, okay, like when you're in front of a live crowd, everything has to be bigger, more showy, right? It's like a little bit like theater. But then now that you're working towards the camera, do things get more showy or does it get more subtle?
A bit of both, I guess. Because if we don't get too showy or we don't like say like sell too much, then it won't be as watchable.
Right.
Because like there's no crowd. So like if there's no crowd and we're not doing much, we're not being too showy, it feels like it's gonna be quiet.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
And given that we will be at commentary as well from Lukman, but it still doesn't feel the same,
Right.
So yeah, like we gotta still like make sure that we're giving 110%. When we're
Even like
wrestling.
in between moves, we are actually supposed to be like, like giving more grunts or, like showing more emotions as well. Because, like inside, we're actually performing in front of a live crowd, you can get the crowd to, feed off the energy and the crowd, the fans will actually react to certain stuff that you do.
Yeah. Let's talk about the emotions then going into something like a loser leaves SPW sort of a match, right? Why did we have to come to that point, as it were? So why was it a loser leaves SPW? Why wasn't it like somebody gets injured or somebody just takes a hiatus? Why did it have to get to that point, as it were then?
I don't know. You got to ask Trexxus. Like he didn't reply to my messages and my calls. And he started to issue that challenge to me. So yeah, it's a little bit heartbreaking for me. So,
It came from Texas lah.
It came from Texas lah. Trexxus in Texas lah.
Texas in Texas. But yeah, like why did it have to escalate to that point? You know what I mean? There are 1,000,001 ways where quote unquote a wrestler can leave the promotion as it were. But why did it have to be like that? Did you guys think that, okay, we need like something really gut-wrenching, we need to tell this story, and that's why that you guys went for that?
Okay, put it this way, if we didn't have the stipulation, just another championship match between Trexxus and Statement, which we had once before. So it will be like, okay, normal match. Okay, everyone's gonna we're just gonna watch it like it's happening again. Okay, but if we had it anywhere in between, like, loser will have take a break from W. Like it won't be as intense, right? Like it's in like if you want to do something, you either give it your all, 100%, or you don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Don't half-ass it, right?
Yeah.
As this. So like. It has to be one way or the other.
Right.
So if we're not doing it at all, then don't do it. Right. If we're gonna go with this idea, go all the way. And that's how we kind of like wanna like get attention, people to like, this it's more easy to watch and it's more intense, so like you get more attention from it. Because otherwise it's like if you go like, okay, loser will take a hiatus, then people are just gonna be like, okay, he'll come back eventually,
Right.
Or soon enough. The next show will come back. The next 2 shows will come back. Something like that.
Yeah. When I was watching the match, and I've seen your previous matches when you guys were contending for the title as well. The previous matches felt like Randy Orton versus Triple H SummerSlam 2004. Trexxus as this young legend killer trying to go for the main guy in Triple H. Now I feel like both of you guys are of equal standing, and like Trexxus definitely has evolved into his own man as a wrestler, right? Were you guys trying to tell that story as well? Like to show that okay, this is now two heavyweight titans of equal stature, duking it out. How was it for you? For both points of view for you guys. For Trexxus as someone who used to be the student and now becoming an equal to the teacher, and how is it for you, Statement, as someone who saw him from the very beginning to see how much he has grown ever since?
Yeah, I mean, what you say is right, lah. You know, that's the story that we want to tell. Like both of us are like right now we are titans in the ring, and of course, actually, if you watch through our match, right, there's actually a lot of like shades of our old matches that we do. So I'm not sure whether y'all can relate to that story that we're trying to show, lah. You know, like especially like I think like the most emotional part would be the one where at the end, you know, after I took the power bomb and kicked out, then you know he picked me out of my feet. He pushed me towards the corner. It's shades of atonement as well, right? You know what I mean? Like when I picked up after he got from the power bomb from Locomotive, and then I pushed him to the corner, and because like we won a fair fight, lah. You know, like at the end of the day, we both of us like won a fair fight. You know, we want both of us to be like 100%, and you know, we just want to see like who's the better man, lah. Yeah. I mean, the most important thing is like, you know, the action that we, you know, pull off inside that match, like, you know, that, you know, as long as most important thing is like, you know, for everyone to remember us, you know, it's our final match, you know, we give everything that we got. It's a bittersweet moment.
Speaking of that, of course, I mean, like we said earlier, right? In wrestling, never say never. Every final match may or may not be the final match. So moving forward, I mean, how does an SPW without Trexxus look like for you, Statement? And in just a bit, I want to get to you, Trexxus. How does Trexxus's life without SPW, how does that look like? But first of all, Statement.
Yeah, definitely going to be different, lah. Like, you know, Trexxus is definitely one of my top draws as well as one of my top wrestlers. You know, as a promoter point of view, lah, of course, you know, it's not going to be bad. It's going to be, you know, it's going to affect business as well. And people who come and watch Trexxus, you know, he's been making his name for himself over social media and of course inside the wrestling industry as well. You know, it's just not going to be the same, but I'll definitely have to like try to find you know, who's going to be the next star, you know, to actually like, you know, step up to the plate to be the level of me, Trexxus, you know, Butcherman. Because, you know, like you know, at SPW, as promoter at SPW, I always like value my product. And of course, I want a quality product for the fans to remember us.
Trexxus?
And let me add to that as well. Who do you think can step up to the plate? Who do you think can be that next guy or gal?
Well, next girl is only Alexis, right? There's only one and only girl right now, right? At the moment.
She's the undisputed girl.
The next guy, I would definitely say it's Eden Rex and the Butcher. Eden Rex and Butcher, they're both very, very talented. You know, you just got to keep an eye out for both of them. You know, they are both like, you know, they have their own unique selling point. Like Butcher, he's such a good storyteller. He's always constantly trying to reinvent his gimmick. And you know, like right now he has this new gimmick, right? Like Marilyn Manson, a little bit of like cross between the Joker and stuff. I think just gotta, you know, keep an eye out for him because he's constantly evolving his gimmick. For Eden Rex, you know, you all see his stuff, lah. You know, as a Statement, I should be a little bit worried because, you know, like he's very unpredictable. You never know what he might do. You know, he's always like learning every single day. Like every time I take a look at his Instagram, Insta stories, it's like doing new stuff. I'm like, whoa, okay, I better step up my game as well. But Eden Rex, you know, it's a very, very good high flyer, lah. And you know, fans who actually like appreciate technical wrestling, just gonna keep an eye out for Eden Rex.
I just want to know why this CK Vin has been hanging around with Butcherman so much. Seems like a very odd pair. Very odd. Trexxus, Trexxus, let's point the spotlight at you right now. What's life without SPW gonna look like, you reckon?
It's definitely going to be very weird, I guess. But also at the same time, just cause I'm away from SPW doesn't mean I'm away from the people. Because I definitely I'm not like breaking friendships with anyone that I've met through SPW, because most of my friends are from SPW. So like I'm still talking to Andrew. I'm talking to Andrew now again, at least, you know. I still want to watch the product. I still want to support it. I want to see SPW Prove go, evolve and do well. So I'm looking forward to like what SPW will do lah. At the same time, also like I feel like I think it's safe to assume that people have been like SPW has been relying on the same few talent to kind of like hold SPW like together in a sense, like it's always the same few guys. So I feel like with my departure, I'm hoping like some of the newer guys or some guys that didn't have the spotlight as much will start to like stand out and try to take that position, take the brass ring or whatever you call it, right?
Break the glass ceiling.
Shatter through.
Yeah. So like I'm especially looking forward to this main event for the tag team championships. They mentioned 3 of the wrestlers that will be involved. 3 of these wrestlers which haven't been having that spotlight as much as guys like myself and Andrew had. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll just mention them real quick. Like Nick, for example, has been around before I have. So I think this is his time to shine. Newer guys like Axel's son, who used to be part of Team Ace, that I have a lot of confidence in after facing against him in that one match that I had against Ace. And of course, BGJ, the one's Big Good Jack. Definitely, I see a lot of potential in him as well.
Yeah, Big Good Jack, we love him.
So, yeah. So I'm looking forward to that match. And also, we're just gonna wait and see who Nick is gonna pick for his partner.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So these 3 guys actually, I think some people might be wondering why are these 3 in this like tag team championship match. Like, I think I'll explain real quick. So like these 3 guys actually are the only ones left in the tag team championship tournament.
Oh
so,
no.
Like, their teams are the only ones left, and they're also the teams that actually advanced on from like what it was before. So that's why these 3 are the ones that were remaining.
Didn't you guys have
championship picture?
Didn't you guys have a tournament right before COVID happened, right? You guys were in the midst of that
we had a tournament and then like some situation happened lah. So
okay, so this is a continuation of that?
So if you go back and look at the brackets, right, then you will understand why these 3 men are actually in this match. And it's actually like we fast forward it all the way to the finals because like we don't have enough we don't want to like totally like scrap out the idea of the technical tournament.
Yep.
So like we like kind of kept it by keeping whoever advanced in it or whoever was involved in it in this title match.
Got it. So I got a quick question with regards to that. For like a lot of people when COVID happened, a lot of the promotions started taking breaks, taking long breaks before eventually only in recent times coming back putting out content. And maybe it's safe to say because I've used myself as a prime example. I kind of lost touch with like what's going on in terms of wrestling for a bit. We are still doing weekly shows. But as you guys know, even trying to keep up with the product during this period is very hard. We just want fans back. What's the best way you guys would say to like your SPW fans and followers who have been kind of like taking a break from wrestling and they want a reason to watch again? Like what would be the best way for you guys to entice them?
I don't know if for me it's like as long as there's a constant product, as long as we are still like giving promos, build out matches and stuff. I think it would be a good way for them to want to keep watching our product lah. And of course, we'll just tell them to actually like watch back our old matches as well. Watch back our past events. Because eventually, like we're not sure when. Maybe it could be a couple of months, it could be one more year as well.
Yeah.
We will definitely be back to at where we were before lah. And then nothing beats that. Being inside the arena, feeling the energy and getting the whole experience and the atmosphere of a live wrestling match lah.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Looking back at all the past matches and all the past events, it just gives hope. Gives hope to the fans, gives hope to us wrestlers that we can get back to once again, be inside that ring and perform in front of a live crowd lah. So that's what keeps everyone going. Yeah.
That
Yeah,
being said, I feel like it's going to look very weird the next time we are at an SPW event and Trexxus may or may not be on the card. I mean, yeah, right? It sounds weird, doesn't it, to you guys?
Yeah, definitely.
But it is what it is, I suppose. Well, if anything, though, once all this phase 2 stuff is lifted and we're back to being able to go out clubbing and stuff like that, I'm sure I'll see you two together in the Insta stories, right?
I don't know, maybe.
Party and all that. When all that stuff is ready and available for us.
I don't know. Maybe I might stop partying so much. Take a back seat, not being a Singapore's Ric Flair. Just want to chill.
What's going on?
Chicken breast every single day because it's the only breast I can get every day.
Hey, bro, I love that line, man.
Damn funny,
I was fucking laughing at that line, last week.
But what's going on, huh? SPW without Trexxus, Andrew, no partying. Like, what is going on with you guys?
I guess I'll be
I don't know, man. I just
alone
don't want to
now,
party anymore, man. I just want to drink my protein shakes every single day. That's all. Just lead a healthy lifestyle.
Right. Wow. I feel like I don't know you two anymore. Yeah.
I just want to change my man. I just want to change. I just want to change myself. Lead a healthier lifestyle.
I can't.
When was the last time you had a drink, Andrew?
When's the last time you trained, Andrew?
Oh.
When was the last time you had a drink?
When was the last time I had a drink? I don't know, man. Maybe last night.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds.
That lasted 12 hours. Yes, that's good.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out on the show today. Coming off an awesome event that you guys put on. Do you want to say anything to the fans? First of all, Trexxus.
Just continue to support the product. Now I'm going to be joining you guys just as a fan. I'll just be watching the product as well. So just hoping that everything gets back to normal and can have crowds back in wrestling again.
All right.
Andrew, statement. What do you want to say to the SPW faithful?
I just want to say thank you for constantly supporting us throughout the years. Without you guys, we won't be at this stage at where we are right now. And of course, like what Trexxus say, constantly just keep watching our product. We'll definitely try to improve our wrestling, of course, and of course we'll be more creative in terms of our storylines and content. We just want you guys to keep coming back for more. So yeah, and of course, stay on to the SPW Facebook page because we always doing contest giveaways as well. Thanks to our sponsors like Hotel Planner, GMB, and MyProtein as well. Yeah, no alcohol sponsor, but more protein sponsor. Healthy living, all right? Healthy living, support the healthy lifestyle. Yes?
Oh, gosh.
There you go. Trexxus, statement. Thank you so much for hanging out.